Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, God-Level Digital Beast Tamer. Chapter 41. Digimon. Mechanical Greymon. Attribute. Virus Species. Type. Retrofit. Level. Complete. Data Value. 15,000. Complete Body. Mechanical Greymon. His eyes fell on Mechanical Greymon. This was not the first time Dorugamon had encountered a complete Digimon. He had encountered Orc Geruruman before, but when it came to fighting against a complete Digimon, there was almost no such thing. But now a perfect Digimon is standing in front of him, and his body has recovered due to evolution. If he chooses to fight, he is fully capable, even if the opponent is a perfect Digimon, one level higher than himself. Great. But if we really fight, we might have a chance to win. No, we can definitely win. Dorugamon has just evolved, so he doesn't know how strong he is now. But what is certain is that it is definitely stronger than when he was in the growth stage, and in the growth stage, he can face the mature Digimon. Now that he is a mature Digimon, he shouldn't need to be afraid even if his opponent is a perfect Digimon, so there is no need to think anymore. Xiaoyun, can you go back there? With his back to his trainer, Dorugamon raised the corners of his mouth slightly, with an excited expression on his face. I think I can have another fight. Sure. Qinyun seemed to have known this result for a long time, so when Dorugamon was observing Mechanical Greymon, he had already retreated to the edge of the screen. Dorugamon, let me see you after evolution. How strong is it? Leave it to me, Xiaoyun, I will definitely bring victory. Clenching his fists and tensing his body into a fighting state, Dorugamon looked at Mechanical Greymon. Facing the complete Digimon, he had no fear and only had one thought in his mind, and that was defeat him. Defeat Mechanical Greymon. Call out. Qinyun walked into the screen, and Mechanical Greymon's eyes glowed red, and then he roared at Dorugamon, and then took action. However, Dorugamon was one step faster. When Mechanical Greymon took a step forward, he had already sprinted in front of Mechanical Greymon, raised his fist and smashed it directly. Boom boom. Mechanical Greymon's body flew out uncontrollably and fell straight onto a platform not far away, causing a loud noise. It's getting faster. Even though he had already guessed that the mature Duolugamon would be stronger than Duolumin, when he saw it with his own eyes, Qinyun realized that he seemed to have miscalculated. This was not a question of whether it was strong or not, but whether it was too strong. Problem. Qinyun expected that Mechanical Greymon was knocked away with one punch. After all, Dorugamon's data value was more than 30,000 more than Mechanical Greymon. What really surprised him was that, the speed shown by Dorugamon. In 1 second, in Qinyun's sight, it only took Dorugamon a second to cross a distance of more than 10 meters, and before Mechanical Greymon could react, it knocked him away. This speed was too fast. If he hadn't been mentally prepared, this attack alone would have been enough to make Qinyun unable to recover. But the battle won't end so easily. The complete form should be more durable than the mature stage. His eyes moved to Mechanical Greymon. Because he had experience fighting with complete Digimon, Qinyun felt that the battle can't end so soon. Even though Dorugamon's data value is higher than that of Mechanical Greymon, it is absolutely impossible to defeat it with one punch like you can when fighting mature Digimon. And just as Qinyun thought, after taking Dorugamon's punch, Mechanical Greymon did not die, but stood up again, and there was no trace of injury on his face. Just like Dorugamon's attack just now, it only knocked Mechanical Greymon away, and it did no actual damage at all. Dorugamon was not surprised to see Mechanical Greymon stand up again. It would be boring if he just fell down like that. After all, it is a complete Digimon. It must be more able to withstand beatings than a mature Digimon. Being more fragile would not be fun. Since fists are ineffective, let's try this. Muttering to himself, Dorugamon focused his attention on Mechanical Greymon, and then he opened his mouth, and iron balls popped out of it instantly. Continuous cannon bullets. More than a dozen iron balls attacked Mechanical Greymon. They were very fast, giving Mechanical Greymon almost no time to dodge. However, when they were about to hit the Mechanical Greymon, they only heard a few hissing sounds, and the flying iron balls stopped. Then they seemed to have come into contact with some sharp material, and were divided into two halves, and fall to the ground. Trident arm. After getting rid of the iron ball, the arm made of chronic Digizoid on Mechanical Greymon's left arm flew out and sprinted towards Dorugamon. Dorikamen moved to the side, and the trident arm immediately hit the platform at his feet, causing a huge explosion, but it failed to cause any damage to Dorikamen and had no choice but to return to his master's body. After dodging the attack, Dorikamen did not fight back, but allowed Mechanical Greymon to fly towards him. Want to test your strength? Seeing this scene, Chin-yun couldn't help but think about it. Dorikamen was very fast before, but compared to the power of its fist, it was very weak, and it didn't even cause any damage to Mechanical Greymon. So now Dorikamen did not choose to go up, but waited for Mechanical Greymon to come over, which made Chin-yun couldn't help but think about power, but it shouldn't be that simple. Have you not adapted to the mature form yet? If so, it can explain the previous attack. Recalling the scene where Dorikamen used continuous cannon bombs, Chin-yun probably guessed that Deluca the beast's thoughts. Obviously Dorikamen did not completely die enjoying the battle, but used Mechanical Greymon to adapt to the power of maturity, although this behavior is a type of seeking death. Because Dorikamen, unlike Chin-yun, can know the data value gap between each other through the system, if his data value is really only at the maturity level, then he would have died at the hands of Mechanical Greymon. It's a pity that the virtual Digimon on the digital tower will not kill the trainer's Digimon. Perhaps it is precisely because of knowing this that Dorikamen has this idea, even if he does not know that he actually has more data values than Mechanical Greymon's. Metal arm. The metal arm on its left arm followed Mechanical Greymon's movements and stabbed towards Dorugamon's chest. Dorugumon didn't make any move. He stood motionless. He just stretched out his right hand and rushed forward. Immediately, his fist and the metal arm collided together. An invisible impact force rose from the center of the two and headed towards spread around. After the two sides faced off like this for a while, Dorikamen suddenly retracted his fist, and before Mechanical Greymon could react, he retreated back to put a certain distance away from him. That's it. It seems that I have indeed become stronger now. Looking down at his fist, there were no scars on it. It was obvious that Dorikamen was not at a disadvantage in the collision just now. Of course, in contrast, Mechanical Greymon also did not suffer. But it cannot be said that Dorikamen has gained nothing at all. At least the confrontation just now made him understand how strong the power he currently controls. Dorikamen even has a feeling that he has not yet fully matured, the power of. If it could be fully utilized, the moment just now would not have ended in a tie. Mechanical Greymon didn't care what Dorugumon was thinking. He retracted his metal arm and stared at Dorugumon. Then his chest shook, and the lift hatch above it was opened, and then two organic missiles. The missile flew out from the center. Giga Destruction Cannon. This is Mechanical Greymon's special move, his strongest attack. The power contained in it is enough to match the ordinary nuclear warheads developed by humans. Once hit, if there is no force, the body will definitely fall into a dead body. The point. Dorugumon, be careful. This is Mechanical Greymon's special move. It's very powerful. Don't use your body to force it. Chin-yun immediately shouted. He didn't give orders in the previous battle because he felt it was unnecessary, because the data value gap is there. But now that Mechanical Greymon has used its special move, it's completely different. Chin-yun knows very well how powerful Mechanical Greymon's Giga Destruction Cannon is, so he needs to remind Dorikamen that he can no longer approach this attack with a training mindset. Dorikamen, who didn't care at first, suddenly turned serious when he heard his trainer's words. Even Chin-yun nervously told himself that this seemed to be Mechanical Greymon's strongest attack. Then, it's time to try your strongest move. Powerful Metal Ball. The muscles on its body suddenly swelled, and Dorikamen opened its mouth and let out a roar. Immediately, an iron ball with a height of more than 10 meters appeared. It directly hit the ceiling of the digital tower, and the platform below cracked. Oops, the space is too small. After seeing the iron ball appearing, it was trapped by the digital tower. Dorikamen's expression changed drastically. This was the first time he used his mature special move, so he never expected that the summoned iron ball would be like this. It's so big that even the entire digital tower's challenge space can't accommodate it. Now, let alone using it to launch an attack, whether it can move forward is a huge problem. What should we do now? Destroy the platform as well. Dorikamen was very distressed, but at this moment, a huge explosion suddenly came from the front, which attracted his attention. However, the vision in front was completely covered by the iron ball, so Dalakaman could not see the iron ball at all. Something happened in front of the ball. It seems that I still overestimated Mechanical Greymon and underestimated the current Dalagaman. Qin Yun, who was behind Dorugamon, was also looking at the huge iron ball at this time. He also heard the explosion, but nothing happened at all, as if it was a blank cannon. But in fact, Qin Yun knew that the explosion was real, but the destructive power produced after the explosion was blocked by Dalagamon's iron ball. Judging from the situation just now, the only thing that can cause an explosion is Mechanical Greymon's Giga Destruction Cannon, which means that Mechanical Greymon's strongest attack has been diffused by Dalagamon. This situation made Qin Yun understand that he had miscalculated the gap between Dorugamon and Mechanical Greymon. He originally thought that judging from the description of Mechanical Greymon's special move, the Giga Destruction Cannon should be capable. In an instant, the gap between him and Dorugamon was closed. But now it seems that this is not the case. Digimon's special moves cannot be seen exactly as described, and the data value gap between the two must also be taken into consideration. But in this situation, how can we determine the winner? Listening to the gradually disappearing explosion, Qin Yun looked at the iron ball, and the corners of his mouth twitched involuntarily. He did not forget that Mechanical Greymon was in front of the iron ball, and the space that could be passed now was occupied by the iron ball. If Dalakaman wants to get over, there are only two ways. One is to destroy the iron ball, and the second is to destroy the platform and let the iron ball sink in, otherwise it will be impossible for him to get over. And being unable to pass through it means that Dalagamon can't deal with Mechanical Greymon. If he can't deal with Mechanical Greymon, he won't be able to clear the 2-star digital tower, and then he has to go home. Just when Qin Yun was thinking about how to let Dalakaman pass, the platform under his feet shook violently as if it had been hit by some impact, and then only a deafening sound was heard. The ball disappeared, leaving only fragments falling from the sky. Even if you look closely, you will find a black shadow inside those fragments, which is Dalakaman. System, how many data values are needed to evolve into a full version of the Dark Beast? Looking at the Dorugamon flying down from above, Qin Yun summoned the system in his heart. 50,000 energy points are required, and the time is reduced from 30 minutes to 1 minute. Okay, you can shut up. He originally planned to use the system to evolve himself into a dark beast, and then test the true power of Dorugamon, but after hearing about this energy point and the time, Qin Yun suddenly gave up this idea. Just kidding, 50,000 energy points only buys 1 minute, so I might as well take Dorugamon to the digital world, maybe I can meet a more powerful perfect Digimon there. When Qin Yun gave up using Darkman to experiment with Dorukamen's power, Dorugaman came down from the sky and immediately rushed in front of Mechanical Greymon. This time Dalagamon did not continue to play. He had adapted to the speed and strength of his mature stage. Although he could not fully exert his power, at this moment he was enough to overpower Mechanical Greymon. This can be seen from the current battle. When Dalagamon sprinted in front of Mechanical Greymon, it just punched and kicked it. It didn't use any special moves or special moves. It just relied on its fists and kicks, forcing Mechanical Greymon to defend. As for counterattack, unfortunately, in the face of Dalagamon's speed, Mechanical Greymon has trouble even defending, so there's no point in counterattacking. It seems it will be over soon. What should we do next? Seeing this scene, Qin Yun also understood that Dorugamon had begun to adapt to his own strength. I believe this battle will be over soon, so he should also consider the next training. Dalagamon is now a mature Digimon, but his data value is higher than that of the complete form. This means that even if he fights the Digimon next on the 2-star digital tower, he will not be able to obtain the previous Digimon. Such a big improvement. Although it is possible to use digital props such as training suits to suppress Dorukamen's power, even if it is suppressed by half, Dorugamon still has more than 20,000 statistics. Even if this kind of data is suppressed, it will be possible to achieve an unconceptual victory against mature or even complete Digimon. In that case, it will be meaningless at all. Therefore, Qin Yun must find a way to allow Dalagamon to continue to improve, instead of staying at the mature stage, but the highest level Digitower in the Digital Alliance is the 2-star Digitower. As for the Samsung Digital Tower, Qin Yun has not seen any trace of the Samsung Digital Tower in the Digital Alliance, so he is not sure whether there is a Samsung Digital Tower. Perhaps the 2-star one is the most advanced. And if there is no Samsung Digital Tower, then there is only one option left if you want to improve Dalagamon. Are you going to the digital world? In that case, I'm going to take the Digital Tamer certificate exam. Excluding the Digital Tower, the only thing left is to search for real Digimon in the digital world. However, if he wants to enter the digital world, Qin Yun must obtain a Digital Tamer certificate. Fortunately, Dalagamon is now a mature Digimon. He only needs to pass the Digital Alliance exam to get the Digital Beast Tamer's certificate. Congratulations to the challenger for clearing the 50th floor and successfully clearing the 2-star Digital Tower. Ding! Dorugamon defeated Mechanical Greymon and obtained 30,000 energy points. At this moment, the system prompt suddenly sounded, and Qin Yun came back from his thoughts. He moved his gaze to the front and saw Mechanical Greymon lying motionless on the ground, with a white light emitting from his body. Then it disappeared little by little. In front of Mechanical Greymon, Dalagamon was panting, but this was not due to exhaustion, but the pleasure of being able to fully unleash his power. I have to say that Mechanical Greymon is really durable. It can persist for so long in the face of Dalagamon's attacks. If his data value were not more than 30,000 less than Dalagamon's, perhaps it could still defeat many more. Lukeman is a little more serious. In addition, this battle also made Dalagamon more accustomed to its mature power. Although it cannot fully exert its power, half of it can still be achieved. As for the rest, it will take time and fighting to slowly adapt. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission, the rewards have started to be sent. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10,000 energy points and a digital armor of courage, starting the next phase of the mission. Just as Qin Yun was about to leave the screen and go to Dalagamon, the system prompt sounded again, and then a panel appeared in front of him. Side mission. Dominate the Digital Tower. Mission requirements. Clear the Samsung Digital Tower. Mission reward. 100,000 energy points, a random digital alloy, and start the next phase of the mission. There really is a Samsung Digital Tower, but why have I never seen it? After seeing that the side mission was not over, Qin Yun was a little surprised, but more than anything, he was happy. Originally, he had planned to take Dalagamon to the digital world to find some powerful perfect Digimon, but now he sees come on, it seems there is no need. Of course, Qin Yun still doesn't know how to enter the Samsung Digital Tower, so he has to find someone to ask. In addition, it's time to get the Digital Tamer's ID. We just have enough time now, so let's take Dalagamon there now. Dalagamon, it's almost time to leave. After making the next plan, Qin Yun came to Dalagamon and said to him. Okay, Xiaoyun. Dorugamon turned around, and then he and his trainer left the platform, walked out of the 2-star Digital Tower, and came outside the Digital Alliance. Xiaoyun, where are we going? After leaving the 2-star Digital Tower, Dorugamon found that his trainer did not go in the direction of leaving, but instead took him to another place, and asked with some confusion. Go take an exam, don't worry, it will be over soon. Qin Yun said as he walked to a certain room. He took out his ID card and inserted it into the interface next to the door. As the ID card was inserted, the door was opened. Qin Yun took the ID card away from the interface, and then led Dalagamon into the room. The area in the room is very small, and there are not many things in it. There is only a small platform and a cylindrical machine. Dorugamon, walk up to that platform. Qin Yun said. Dorugamon walked to the platform obediently. He looked around and looked at the dark room. He had no idea what he was going to do. If it was an exam, this place didn't look like an exam. The place. Qin Yun didn't notice the confusion on Duolumen's face. He walked quickly to the cylindrical machine, inserted the ID card in his hand into the interface again, and at the same time stretched out his right hand and pressed on the screen next to the interface. Superior. As the palm fell, circles of light suddenly appeared on the small platform on the other side of Dorugamon, scanning Dorugamen's expression from bottom to top, and finally disappeared. After testing, the Digimon's data meets the maturity level. There are no traces of contact with a trainer or binding on the data. The ID card and fingerprints match the person's identity. The application for the Digital Beast Tamer certificate has been approved, please collect it. As the electronic sound appeared, Chin-yun took the ID card away from the interface, and then waited for about 5 or 6 seconds before a brand new card popped out of the interface. Chin-yun immediately reached out to catch the card. When he looked down, he saw only 2 lines of words on it. Cardholder, Chin-yun, level, Junior Digital Tamer. This is the ID of a Digital Beast Tamer. Having it means that Chin-yun has now officially become a Junior Digital Beast Tamer. This process only takes less than a minute. It seems very simple, but in fact it is very simple, because as long as someone can bring a mature Digimon, they can receive this card, provided that the Digimon does not have traces left by other trainers. Okay, Dorugamon, you can come down now, it's time for us to go home. After putting the Digital Beast Taming certificate into his pocket, Chin-yun said to Dorugamon, who still looked confused. Is it ready? Dorugamon looked at his trainer as if in a daze. Didn't he agree to take the exam? Why is he going back now? It's done, come down quickly. Chin-yun did not go to solve Dorugamon's doubts, because the digital taming certificate does not require telling the Digimon, and it is not that they need this kind of certificate. Dorugamon was still a little confused, but since Chin-yun said it was okay, he didn't dwell on it anymore. After playing at the 2-star digital tower for a whole day, he was very tired and needed to rest. Chin-yun left the room with Dorugamon, then walked out of the Digital Alliance and headed towards their home. I'm finally back, Dorugamon. Now try to see if you can degenerate. When he got home, it was already evening. Chin-yun put the bento he bought from the supermarket on the table, then turned to Dorugamon and said. On the way home just now, something happened due to the Dorugamon system. I could have come back an hour ago, but because of the traffic jam, I only got to this time. Therefore, Chin-yun feels that if things continue like this, it will definitely become troublesome to go out in the future. Although Dorugamon can fly, if you want a Digimon to fly in the sky, you need a driver's license. The driver's license here is equivalent to a flight license. Only Digimon with this certificate can fly in the sky. Otherwise, they must walk on the streets honestly. As for those mature Digimon running on the road, they also need a driver's license before they can walk on the road. This leads to the fact that generally junior trainers who do not have a driver's license will not take their mature Digimon out. After all, most mature Digimon are huge, and going out together will definitely cause traffic congestion. Taking the driver's license test is a very troublesome thing for Chin-yun, because he needs to register, then learn some knowledge about flying in the sky and running on the road, and then there is the practical test. Putting aside how troublesome it is to do these things, Chin-yun wants to know if this driver's license knowledge is useful. Whether it is flying or running, it is performed by the Digimon, not the trainer himself, so let the trainer do it. Is it helpful to hear this knowledge? No, Xiaoyun, I still can't control my power, and it will be difficult for me to degrade. Dorugamon is following Chin-yun's words and trying to degenerate itself to the growth stage. However, because it has just evolved, it cannot fully control the data in its body. This means that Dorugamon cannot degenerate like it did in the growth stage. It will degenerate when it reaches the juvenile stage, and it will evolve if it wants to evolve to the growth stage. Hearing Dorugamon's words, Chin-yun was not surprised. The last time he evolved from the juvenile stage to the growth stage, he was unable to degenerate and evolve freely at the beginning, so it was normal that he could not do it this time. Anyway, there is still some time now, and the Digital Tower Challenge in the Digital Alliance branch has also been completed. As for going to the digital world, we still need to plan it first, so in the following days, Dorugamon can become more accustomed to its power. By that time, it should be possible to evolve and degenerate freely. Okay, Dorugamon, let's eat first. Okay, time passed, and a week had passed since we passed the 2-star digital tower. During this week, Chin-yun and Dorugamon did not challenge the digital tower again. Although the cooldown time has expired today and they can obtain energy points from the 2-star digital tower again, Chin-yun did not choose to do so. Because, long time no see, Teacher Song, are you here because Kangyu College is about to start school? Chin-yun said with a smile, looking at Song Fiken standing at the door. Yes, the academy is indeed about to start, but not yet. This time I am here to take you to register at the academy. Sign Fiken said. Sign up. That's right, if you want to enter the academy, in addition to my letter of recommendation, you also need to register at the academy. Sign Fiken said, after you register, the academy will arrange a place for you to stay until September 1st. I will officially enroll as soon as possible. Chin Yun nodded. He understood what Song Fiken meant. At the same time, he moved his gaze behind Song Fiken and saw a girl and a Delu beast standing there. Mo Xiaoyu. The girl in front of her was no stranger to Chin Yun. She was the trainer who trained mature Digimon in her junior high school. But this time she came with Song Fei, and it seemed that she had received the admission notice from Kangyu College. Hello, classmate Chin Yun. Hello. Mo Xiaoyu noticed Chin Yun's gaze and said hello with a smile. The Delu beast in her arms also stretched out his fingers to say hello to Chin Yun. Hello, classmate Mo Xiaoyu, Deluman. Chin Yun also said hello, and then he turned his head and shouted inside, Dalaman, get ready, we are leaving here. Oh, okay, Xiaoyun. Deluman's voice came from inside. After Chin Yun asked him to be free to degenerate, Deluman tried his best to get used to the power in his body every day during this week. And it was yesterday afternoon that he finally succeeded. Regress from the mature stage to the growth stage. Don't worry, I actually have another thing to do when I come here this time. Song Fiken suddenly said. Chin Yun, before you set off, you and Mo Xiaoyu will have a beast tamer battle. Let me see if you have made any progress during these days. Hearing this, Chin Yun was stunned for a moment. He turned his head and looked at Song Fiken, as well as Mo Xiaoyu and Delu Beast, who were looking at him expectantly and with fighting intent on their pretty faces. He suddenly fell into thinking. Okay, but my place is not suitable for fighting Digimon. After thinking for a moment, Chin Yun agreed to this battle. Since the other party was going to send energy points to his door, how could he not agree? What's more, it was his first time fighting a living mature Digimon. Although he had fought Zombie Greymon once before, it was Chin Yun who fought that time, not Duolumin. This was indeed the first time for Chin Yun to have such a battle between trainers, so he is also looking forward to it. Of course we can't do it here. Let's go to the Digital Alliance branch first. Then we can leave directly after finishing the fight. Sign Fiken said. Chin Yun nodded, and then he brought Song Fiken and Mo Xiaoyu to the living room, then walked into the house and packed his luggage with Duolu Beast. This time I left Wadu to go to Kangyu Academy. I would definitely not be able to come back in a short time, so I had to take care of all the important things. That's the kind of environment he lives in. Sitting on the somewhat shabby sofa and looking at the situation in the room, Sign Fiken roughly understood Chin Yun's family background, and felt a little incredible that he could cultivate a Digimon as powerful as Doroman. Mo Xiaoyu also looked around curiously, but unlike Song Fiken, she didn't have many thoughts in her heart. She was just curious about Chin Yun living in such a poor place. Sorry for keeping you waiting. About half an hour later, Chin Yun dragged his suitcase and Duolumin out of the room. Hello. Dalaman also greeted Song Fiken, Mo Xiaoyu and Deluman politely. I am Doroman, the Digimon of Chin Yun. Hello, Duolu Beast, my name is Mo Xiaoyu. Mo Xiaoyu also responded. This is my Digimon, Deluman. Her name is almost the same as yours. Okay, now that we're ready, it's time for us to go. Song Fiken got up from the sofa, and then he took the lead to leave the house. Mo Xiaoyu and Deluman followed him out, while Chin Yun locked the door after taking Duolumin out. I'm about to leave. Looking at the door in front of him, Chin Yun's mood was a little complicated. Perhaps he felt a little sad because he knew that he would not be able to come back for a long time. Xiaoyun, noticing the change in his trainer's mood, Doroman wanted to comfort him, but didn't know what to say. I'm fine, Doroman. Putting his right hand on the little head of Duolu Beast, Chin Yun smiled. Don't worry, I'm not the kind of person who loves his family. Dorokamen nodded fiercely, and he could feel that Chin Yun had cheered up. One person and one beast left their home, followed Song Fiken and Mo Xiaoyu, and walked towards the Digital Alliance branch. It was unknown how long it would take to get back. Digital Alliance Division. You guys just have a fight here. Opening the door to the room, Song Fiken walked in with Chin Yun and Mo Xiaoyu. Then he turned on a button in the room. The originally dark space suddenly became brighter, and Arena appeared in front. Is there such a thing in the Digital Alliance? Qin Yun was a little surprised when he saw this arena. Isn't this the place where the trainers, Digimon fight on TV? He didn't expect it to be in the Digital Alliance. It was also the first time for Doroman to see a real thing. He was still listless, but he suddenly became more interested. Before coming to the Digital Alliance, Qin Yun had already told Doroman about the matter. Doroman was originally very happy when he heard that there was a Digimon fighting, but as soon as he heard that he was going to fight Doroman, he suddenly stopped interest. The reason is very simple. There are too many Dilumans, and the Dilumans have no desire to fight at all. Although Duoman knows that Diluman is a mature Digimon, according to his trainer, Diluman's data value is only about 3,000, which is really too little. You must know that the current Doroman, even in its mature stage, has a data value of more than 10,000, which is a full 7,000 more than Doroman. This gap of 7,000 is equivalent to the gap between the mature stage and the complete body. Duolumin wanted to refuse such an unconceptual battle. After all, he was not wearing any restricted digital props, and he could really fight with the rhythm of killing with one punch. But now that he saw the ring, Doroman was at least a little interested. After all, he had wanted to fight other trainers' Digimon in such a ring for a long time. Although the opponent this time was very weak, it looked like in terms of appearance in the arena, let's be a little more serious. Dilman, you have to be merciful so that the opponent can grow. Mo Xiaoyu didn't know what Dulman was thinking. She walked to the other side of the ring with her Digimon in her arms and warned Dilman. Mo Xiaoyu was looking forward to this battle. After all, Qin Yun passed the 1-star digital tower faster than them, and was still recognized by Teacher Song, so she wanted to see how powerful Qin Yun's Digimon were, sharp. However, mercy is still needed. After all, no matter how powerful the growth stage is, it is still a growth stage Digimon. Even if it passes the 1-star digital tower, the virtual Digimon in the 1-star digital tower are actually stronger than the Digimon of the same level, weak. Otherwise, he would not have been defeated by some mature stages whose data value was only 1 or 2,000. You must know that when he faced the mature stage of the 1-star digital tower, Mo Xiaoyu only spent a minute. During this period, Diluman didn't look injured at all. It can be imagined that the living maturity stage is stronger than the false maturity stage, not to mention that she, the trainer, is present. Don't worry, Xiaoyu, I will pay attention. Diluman nodded. At this moment, she had no idea what kind of painful tragedy she would encounter next. Diluman, remember to be merciful. This is not a Digi-Tower attack. Don't beat Diluman to death. On the other side of the ring, Qin Yun also warned Doroman that he didn't dare to let Doroman go all out. Just kidding, a Digimon with a data value of more than 10,000 can fight a Digimon with a data value of more than 3,000 and go all out. That's not beating him to death. If it were a real battle, of course it would be fought to the death, but this was just a competition of a sparring nature. If Diluman was really beaten to death, then things would be a big deal. Okay, don't worry, I will be careful. While saying this, Duoluman walked to the ring, and at the same time Diluman also came to the ring. Then, now, start. After seeing the two Digimon go up, Seinfeld announced the start of the battle. Diluman, let's attack first. As soon as Song Fiken's voice fell, Mo Xiaoyu immediately gave the order to Diluman, and Diluman immediately started running forward and rushed towards Duoluman. When it was about to get close, Diluman raised its fist, preparing to give Diluman a blow. Facing the offensive of Mo Xiaoyu and Dilu Beast, Qin Yun did not give any instructions, and Duolu Beast did not show any signs of dodge. He just moved his hand, and then, bang! A dull sound came, and then a black shadow flew across the ring, and the reddish one fell motionless on the edge of the ring. A closer look revealed that it was Diluman, and she was completely unconscious at this moment. The battle was over, only for about 2 or 3 seconds. Duoluman kept punching. Mo Xiaoyu looked at the unconscious Diluman blankly. Song Fiken was also stunned. He didn't seem to have thought that this battle would turn out. It was over so quickly. This has just begun, and Diluman has already rushed to the street. This is completely different from the script he thought of. There was silence in the ring. Doroman retracted his fist and turned to look at his trainer, his eyes seeming to ask if it was over. Teacher Song, is this okay? Qin Yun turned around and shouted to the stunned Song Fiken. Qin Yun, can you tell me what the data value of Duolu Beast is? Sine Fiken asked Qin Yun with a trembling voice after he came to his senses. As early as the last final exam, Sine Fiken had seen Doroman defeat a mature Digimon, but that was a virtual Digimon, and Doroman didn't kill him directly at that time. The two Digimon somehow fought, few times. But this time, Deluman, whose data value was higher than that of virtual Digimon, had no resistance at all against Multimon and was killed instantly. This was not a virtual Digimon, but a real Digimon. Probably more than 7,000. Qin Yun replied with an uncertain tone. Of course he knew the current data value of Duolumin, but it was impossible to answer the truth when someone asked. Naturally, you have to be cautious in this society. 7,000. However, even so, Sine Fiken was still frightened. He thought that Digimon's data value would reach more than 5,000. After all, only Digimon with a data value of more than 3,000 can be killed instantly, only those with elite maturity level data value. It is possible only for Digimon. The minimum data value for the elite maturity stage is 5,000, so Sine Fiken has already made the lowest estimate. But he didn't expect that he had made a mistake in his calculation. The data value of Duolumin was not the lowest 5,000, but the highest 7,000. Doesn't this mean that if he continues to cultivate it, he might be able to reach the king level of 10,000? Data value. It should be impossible. After all, it is more difficult to upgrade from 7,000 to 10,000 than it is to evolve a Digimon from a mature stage to a complete body. Even their Kangyu Academy there have only been 2 existences with King Digimon. But becoming a complete Digimon is one of the requirements for graduating from their academy. From this, we can see how rare the existence known as the King Digimon is. And now there is such a Digimon that may become the king in front of him. When he thinks of this, the shock in his heart is reduced a lot, replaced by joy. Sine Fiken seems to have seen it. Before he combines Qin Yun and Duolu, what a generous reward the beast will receive after being brought to the academy. I believe that the academy also wants to cultivate another King Digimon, even if the probability is very low and it will take hundreds of years for one to appear. But at least his rewards will not be less, and Qin Yun can also get the attention of the college, which is a win-win situation. If you go to school, you should get a lot of resources. Noticing Song Fiken's expression, Qin Yun knew that his goal had been achieved. The reason why he said that the multi-root beast had a data value of 7,000 instead of 5,000 was to make Sine Fiken associate the multi-root beast with the king. On the Digimon. Although the data value of 5,000 seems to be very powerful when placed in the growth stage, Qin Yun feels that it is far inferior to the data value of 7,000. The reason is very simple. The data value of 5,000 is the minimum requirement for elites in the mature stage, and the data value of 7,000 is very powerful. It is the highest level of elite maturity. Between the ordinary and the best, the latter is usually chosen. I believe this is the same for Sine Fei Chen. A data value of 5,000 is more valuable for cultivation than a data value of 7,000, especially in the growth period. I believe that when Song Fiken reports the data values of the multi-path beasts to Kangyu College, he will definitely get the key training of Kangyu College. Whatever resources he wants, he can get them from Kangyu College. Got it. There is no need to be like an ordinary student who has to work hard to obtain it after enrolling in school. Before entering Kangyu Academy, Qin Yun made some plans that were beneficial to himself through his rich social experience and the importance the world attached to Digimon. Xiaoyun, can I come down? After standing on the ring for a while, he found that no one still paid attention to him, and Delumin couldn't help but ask. That's it, Qin Yun, let your Digimon come down. Before Qin Yun could speak, Song Fiken walked to the other side of the ring as he spoke. Mo Xiaoyu, give this to Delu Beast to drink. I believe she will wake up soon. After saying that, Song Fiken took out a bottle of potion and handed it to Mo Xiaoyu. This is a healing potion. Mo Xiaoyu recognized the identity of the potion at first sight, took it immediately, and thanked Song Fiken. Thank you, Teacher Song. After that, Mo Xiaoyu opened the bottle and fed the potion inside to Delu Beast. As the potion continued to flow in, Delu Beast's body began to move. After a while, she opened her eyes again, looking at the sky blankly. Great, Delumin, you finally woke up. Seeing her Digimon wake up, Mo Xiaoyu felt happy. Delumin was unconscious before, which made her very worried. Rather than being surprised that Delumen was defeated by Delumen, she was more concerned about the situation of her Digimon. This is also something that digital beast trainers should do well. Although fighting is important, nothing is more important than the health of your Digimon partners. Xiaoyu, I lost. Delumen, who had just woken up, seemed to have not recovered from the battle just now. She looked at her trainer with some confusion. She did not understand what happened at all. She only remembered that the Digimon punched. Then he lost consciousness. You did lose, how do you feel? Sine Fiken asked. I don't feel anything. After pondering for a moment, Delumen shook his head and said, I don't even know what happened just now. It seems like I lost out of nowhere. It's normal. The data value of Dualu Beast is 7,000, and your data value is over 3,500. There is a data value difference of about 3,500 between you. Sine Fiken explained. In a battle between mature Digimon, it is difficult to tell if the gap is around 1,000. If the gap is more than 2,000, the one with the higher data value will have a certain degree of suppression. If it exceeds 3,000, he will definitely be killed instantly. This is an unchanging law in the maturity period. 7,000 data values. Delumen didn't listen to what Sine Fiken said. When she heard that Delumen had a data value of 7,000, she was completely stunned. Doesn't it mean that the opponent is a growing Digimon? Aren't there usually only a few hundred Digimon in the growth stage, and the maximum is only 1,000? A grown-up Digimon with a data value of 7,000 suddenly appeared. Are you sure you are not kidding yourself? Teacher Song, are you making a mistake? Not only was Delumen dumbfounded, but also after hearing the data value of Dualumen, Mo Xiaoyu also had an expression of disbelief. How can there be a growth stage Digimon with a data value of 7,000? How is it impossible? The data value itself refers to the data owned by the Digimon. At this time, Qin Yun came over with Doromen. According to the knowledge taught in school, the capacity of data is determined based on the Digicore, and the Digicore can be exercised through external force. As long as the Digimon's physical strength is when it reaches a certain level, you can indirectly improve your Digicore, and when your Digicore is improved to a certain level, you will achieve a breakthrough. Isn't this how elite Digimon are born? In this case, isn't it normal for me to be able to train Doromen to rival elite mature Digimon? It's normal, you big-headed ghost. After hearing what Qin Yun said, Sine Fiken wanted to complain, but in the end he endured it. After all, he had truly cultivated the data values of growth stage Digimon to the point of elite maturity, not to mention that it's not the first time, there are several people in the academy who have done this. Although the few students in the college did not raise the data value to 7,000, the highest one was only around 5,000. This is absolutely impossible. It is unrealistic for growth stage Digimon to have data on their maturity stage, let alone reaching the elite maturity stage. Mo Xiaoyu was not ignored by Qin Yun's words, because in her and their cognition, there are no growth stage Digimon that can compete with the mature stage of elites. If the Dalaman has the data value of an ordinary mature stage, Mo Xiaoyu can barely accept it. After all, Qin Yun is a beast tamer who has passed the 1-star digital tower like her. But Qin Yun said that Doromen has a data value of 7,000. This data value, which is comparable to the mature stage of elites, appears in a growth stage Digimon. This will only make Mo Xiaoyu feel ridiculous rather than shocked. Qin Yun didn't say anything more to Mo Xiaoyu. The reason why he answered just now was just to let Song Fiken understand that his method of training Digimon is the same as other people's method of training Digimon. Otherwise, I will definitely be worried about Sine Fiken later. After all, being able to cultivate mature Digimon that can compete with elites must have mastered a special method. But in fact, what Qin Yun used was an ordinary training method. The only difference was that he purchased a large number of digital props from the system to increase the data value of the Doromen. Otherwise, it would be replaced by most people will be like Mo Xiaoyu said, it is possible to mature, but it is unrealistic for elites to mature. Okay, whether it's true or not, you will find out when you get to the academy. Song Fiken waved his hand. Although he was a little unsure in his heart, he would not deny it blindly like Mo Xiaoyu. After all, there were several perverted animal trainers in the academy. Also, as he said, were there 7,000. The data value can be determined after arriving at the academy. It's getting late now, we should leave, otherwise we have to wait until tomorrow to go back. After leaving these words, Song Fiken turned and walked out of the room. Qin Yun also followed closely with Duolu Beast. Mo Xiaoyu, who was behind, had a bulging face at this time, as if she wanted to say something. But in the end, he didn't say anything, picked up Delumen, and left with him. Song Fiken took Qin Yun, Mo Xiaoyu and the others out of here and came to the lobby of the Digital Alliance. Then they walked in a certain direction and soon came to a wall. You guys wait a moment. After asking Qin Yun and Mo Xiaoyu to stop first, Song Fiken quickly walked to the wall, then took out something from his pocket and placed it on the wall. Suddenly, a dazzling white light emerged from it and quickly covered the wall. Comprehensive. Okay, you can come in. Song Fiken took a step back, looked at the light in front of him that seemed dazzling but actually did not hurt his eyes, shouted to Qin Yun and Mo Xiaoyu, and then he stepped in. Is this a passage? It's interesting. Seeing Song Fiken walking directly into the white light without being stopped by the wall, Qin Yun raised his eyebrows slightly. This was the first time he had seen such a thing. It seems that there are still many unknown things in this world that need to be discovered. Investigate. After Qin Yun observed the white passage, he took the Duolu Beast and walked in. Mo Xiaoyu, who was beside him before, had already led the Duolu Beast in. After Qin Yun walked in, the white passage disappeared instantly and returned to its original wall, and the small things that Song Fiken had placed on the wall before were also missing. It's really amazing. Is this an ability or a technology? Walking in the white world, he stretched his hands to both sides and touched something like a wall. This made Qin Yun curious as to what was used to create such a passage. Delumen was also angry and looked around, but instead of running around, it followed Qin Yun closely. Okay, we're here. After walking for a while, Song Fiken in front suddenly stopped. This behavior also caused Qin Yun, Mo Xiaoyu and Duolu Beast to stop. Before they could ask, someone suddenly appeared in their field of vision. A burst of white light. Different from the gentle light in the passage, this white light was so dazzling that they couldn't help but close their eyes. They only opened their eyes when they felt the light was weak. Here it is. After opening his eyes, Qin Yun was stunned when he saw the scenery in front of him. He saw that the originally white world had disappeared, replaced by the blue sky, the green earth, and the round pillars erected all around. In addition to these scenery, what worries Qin Yun most is that in addition to the two people who came together, Song Fiken and Mo Xiaoyu, there are also some people in other places. They look about the same age as herself. And there were several Digimon standing behind them. At a cursory glance, these Digimon are all at the mature level, and there is no growth level Digimon at all. Welcome to Kangyu Academy. Song Fiken's voice came again. Qin Yun looked at the students and their Digimon gathered around, and suddenly became a little excited. So many of his peers had cultivated mature Digimon. As expected, the students from the 4 major colleges, the name is not for nothing. Even though Kangyu College is ranked last. Xiaoyun, there are many mature Digimon here. Doroman looked at the mature Digimon around him, his little face full of fighting spirit. He didn't expect that after coming out of that white world, he would encounter so many mature Digimon. Although they gave him the feeling, just like Delumen. But there are at least 100 or so mature ones here. What a wonderful thing it would be if you could fight them. There are indeed a lot of them, but you can't attack them due to the multi-lunar beasts. Qin Yun looked around. There were more mature Digimon here than he had encountered on the 2-star digital tower. Although the data value could not compare with the maturity of 2-star Digimon above the 40 level, these were genuine. It's a Digimon, not a fake Digimon, so the real fight will be more powerful than the virtual Digimon. After all, the virtual Digimon in the digital tower are purely offensive, but their defense is very weak, so weak that even Digimon with lower data values than him have a chance to defeat it. Can't you take action? Delumen, who was originally a little eager to try, suddenly became a little frustrated when he heard this, but he did not give up, but turned his head and looked at his trainer pitifully. It's useless for you to look at me like that, these Digimon are no match for us. Qin Yun directly ignored Duolumen's acting skills. If you really want to fight, you might have a chance in the future. For now, just be patient. I see. Hearing this, Doroman also understood that he couldn't fight these Digimon now, and he was a little disappointed, but thinking that he could fight with them later, he became a little bit excited. Qin Yun, Deluman, you two come here quickly. I will take you to register first, and then arrange a place for you to live. At this time, Song Fiken's voice came. Qin Yun and Duolu Beast looked up and looked ahead. They saw that Song Fiken and Mo Xiaoyu had walked out at some point, and one person and one beast quickly followed them. Song Fiken took Qin Yun and Mo Xiaoyu away from here. They passed through the column and came to a forest path, walking forward. Beside them, there were other students and Digimon walking together, and there was also Kang Kang. Teachers of U Academy. Isn't that Digimon in its growth stage? It looks a bit similar. I remember the name seems to be Doroman. Then he is the trainer of this Digimon. He can actually come here with a growth stage Digimon. Is it true? Is there anything special about this Digimon? No, I remember that there is nothing special about Doroman. The only thing that is different from other Digimon is that his evolved form is not as stable as other Digimon. Quote. The students around them noticed Qin Yun and the others when they came over. Naturally, they also saw the Doroman, and were a little surprised at the moment. After all, most of the students currently coming to Kangyu Academy have trained mature stage Digimon. As for the growth stage Digimon, except for this Doroman, none have been seen so far. Among a bunch of mature Digimon, a growth stage one suddenly appears, and it's impossible not to be attractive. Therefore, the students were very curious as to what was so special about the trainer of the Doroman that he could enroll in the school with geniuses like them. While the students were paying attention to Doroman, Doroman was also looking at these students, or to be precise, the mature Digimon following them. Ah, I really want to fight, I really want to have a battle with them. Doroman, who has been holding it in for about a week, really can't hold it anymore, especially since there are so many mature Digimon here. He really seems to be having a fight, but unfortunately his trainer doesn't allow him. Fight on your own. After walking for a while, a tower appeared in front of the forest. This tower was more than 15 meters tall and covered a large area. The windows on the surface of the building were opened. The windows were large and two people were sitting on it. Agumon, a Gabumon and 3 Patamon were looking at the students coming over with their little heads lowered and angrily on their faces. There are a lot of Digimon here. Qin Yun naturally also noticed these growth stage Digimon. He was sure that these growth stage Digimon did not belong to the students. The data values given by the system made him understand that this was only about 100 years of growth. It is not cultivated by students. Secondly, this tower belongs to Kangyu Academy, so naturally these Digimon also belong to Kangyu Academy. In addition to the Digimon on the windows, there were also several grown-up Digimon at the semicircular gate, and even some juvenile Digimon playing on the lawn outside the tower. This scene fell in Qin Yun's eyes, and he sighed again. It is indeed a world where humans and Digimon live together, and the Digimon have completely integrated into it. Mr. Yi, I'm bringing the students here. After entering the tower, Song Fiken came to an old man sitting at the gate, bent down and said respectfully. The old man known as Yi Lao had his eyes closed at this time, as if he had not heard Song Fiken's words, but a ripple suddenly appeared behind him, and then a black shadow walked out from inside. This is a Digimon. He wears a white robe, a mask on his head, and a pair of wings on his back. Holy Engelman! Qin Yun was a little surprised when he saw the appearance of this Digimon. He did not expect that after hundreds of mature ones, a perfect Digimon would appear, and it would also be a powerful perfect Digimon like Holy Engelman. Digimon. Holy Engelman, Priest Form. Attribute. Vaccine Type. Type. Archangel Type. Level. Complete. Data Value. 65,176. The data value is over 60,000, which is too high. When he saw the data value given by the system about Holy Angel Beast, Qin Yun was frightened again. If he remembered correctly, the priest form of Holy Angel Beast was not used for fighting, but for supervising angels, type Digimon. Holy Engelman, who is not fighting, already has a data value of more than 65,000. Then when he returns to his original form, won't he have a data value of more than 100,000? If there are 100,000 Digimon, and the data value gap of the perfect form is about the same as the mature stage, wouldn't it mean that the Holy Engelman in front of me is the king of perfect Digimon? This Kangyu Academy is even more powerful than I imagined. Before, Song Fiken's Digimon was at the complete Digimon level, but now an old man in charge of registration also had a complete Digimon. Qin Yun was looking forward to the next days at Kangyu Academy more and more. Holy Angelman, why are you out? After seeing the appearance of Holy Angel Beast, Song Fiken was very surprised. Even the teacher who brought the students over was also very surprised. Long time no see, Xiao Song, and Xiao Lu. Holy Angelman smiled and greeted the two teachers, and then said, "You guys came a little late. The other Digimon have already left with their teachers and classmates. I am the only one left here, so this test will be conducted by I'll be responsible. So that's it, then I'll leave it to you," Song Fiken said respectfully, then took a few steps back and came to the outside of the tower. Holy Angelman also walked out of the tower. His eyes moved from Song Fiken and Teacher Lu to the students and the mature Digimon behind them. He looked at these students who came to sign up and nodded lightly. When his eyes moved to Dualumin, Holy Angelman seemed to be stunned for a moment, and then the corners of his mouth couldn't help but raised, and his eyes fell on Qin Yun who was standing next to Dualumin. Even if no one explained to him, Holy Angelman seems to have figured out who Dorumin's trainer is. It seems that this old man's identity is unusual. Qin Yun also noticed Holy Angelman's gaze, but he didn't care about the smile on Holy Angelman's face, because his smile was facing everyone, and compared to this, he cared more about Song Fiken's attitude before. Originally, Qin Yun thought that the old man in charge of registration was an ordinary teacher in Kangyu College, just like Song Fiken, but judging from the conversation between Song Fiken and Holy Angel Beast just now, it was obvious that the matter was not what he imagined. It's so simple. If it was an ordinary teacher, how could Song Fiken be so respectful? Even another teacher Lu was frightened when he saw the Holy Angel Beast. Obviously, this old man called Mr. Yi, identity is definitely not as simple as it seems now. It's normal if you think about it carefully. After all, Holy Angelman's data value is comparable to 2 or 3 Beastman Garuruman, and to be able to own such a powerful Digimon is beyond the reach of an ordinary old man. Hello, fellow students, let me introduce myself. My name is Holy Angelman. Holy Angelman walked to Song Fiken's side. He looked at the students and mature Digimon in front of him and said slowly, "I will be responsible for your registration next. Please don't be nervous. Registration is very easy. All you have to do is come to me with your friends. Now, please invite the first student to come up." After Holy Angelman finished speaking, no one of the students present came forward. It was their first time to sign up for Kangyu Academy. Although Holy Angelman said it was very simple, they were too young and they would inevitably have some feelings in their hearts. "I am timid, and I heard that the assessments of the 4 major colleges are very strict, so I am still a little nervous." Don't be nervous. Just like Holy Angelman said, you don't need to do anything to register. Just let Holy Angelman confirm the data values of your partners. It seems that the inner nervousness and timidity of the students can be seen, Teacher Lu said. Hearing this, the students present seemed to understand and relaxed one by one. There were even some bold students who walked over directly with their Digimon partners. "Hello, Holy Angelman." The first person to come to Holy Angelman was a boy. He seemed to be in contact with a complete Digimon for the first time. He was a little nervous, causing his speech to be a little choppy. The one who came with him was a mature Digimon, Wasp Beast. It seems that because of the inner emotions of its trainer, Waspmon hissed at Holy Angelman, trying to intimidate Holy Angelman so that the trainer would no longer be so nervous and afraid. 2700. Holy Angelman didn't pay attention to Waspman's intimidation. He smiled and said a statistic, and showed a smile to the boy. Seeing this smile, the boy calmed down instantly. It was as if the previous nervousness and fear didn't exist. He bent over to Holy Angelman, and then left with Waspmon. After the first beginning, the remaining students were no longer afraid. In addition, Holy Angelman did not deceive themselves, so many students brought their own Digimon to Holy Angelman. I want to hear Holy Angelman's data judgment on its own Digimon. 1900, 2130, 2507. Quote. Is this visible with the eyes, or does Digimon have special means to determine the data value of a Digimon? Qin Yun, who was in the back, suddenly became interested when he heard the numbers reported by the Holy Angel Beast. He must know that the numbers given by the holy angel beast were almost the same as the data values given to him by the system. Although there are still some errors, they are basically fixed at 200, and the problem is not big. Therefore, Qin Yun wants to know how Holy Angleman can see the data values of mature Digimon. It would be fine if this was unique to Holy Angleman, but if all perfect Digimon had it, it would be a bit troublesome. System, can the data of Holy Angleman and Dualumin be fixed at 7000? No matter which one it is, Qin Yun felt that it was necessary to take some measures, so he expected that the system could fix the data value of Dualumin at 7000. By fixing it on a single number, at least it won't be obvious to the Digimon investigating Multimon. After the system gave a simple answer, there was no other sound. This surprised Qin Yun, who had already prepared to pay with energy points. According to the nature of the system, it shouldn't be that simple. However, after waiting for a long time, there was no sound from the system, which made Qin Yun a little confused. Qin Yun, it's your turn. At this time, Song Fiken's voice came, causing Qin Yun to come back to his senses. Then he found that all the students and Digimon were looking at him, and there were no students or mature Digimon on the Holy Angleman side. There is only one situation that can explain this phenomenon, that is, while Qin Yun was thinking, the other students had finished testing, and he was the only one left. At that moment, Qin Yun immediately walked over with Dualumin, feeling a little nervous inside. After all, although the system answered his question just now, it did not explain it in detail, which made Qin Yun unsure of Dualumin's current data value. Is it only possible to detect 7000? If it is, then you don't have to change your plan. If not, you will definitely get into a lot of trouble. After all, a growing Digimon with a data value of 10,000 is really amazing. Don't be nervous, it will be over soon. Holy Angleman seemed to be aware of Qin Yun's inner worry and said with a smile. He moved his eyes to Dualumin and looked at Dualumin quietly. About a minute later, he suddenly let out a light sigh. This sound immediately attracted the attention of everyone present. Whether it was the teacher or the students, it was the first time they heard such a sound. 7000. Not paying attention to the eyes of others, Holy Angleman showed a meaningful smile and said a number that made all the students unbelievable. 7000. Holy Angleman, what did you just say? 7000. Teacher Lu, who was next to Holy Angleman, was immediately frightened when she heard this number. She looked at Holy Angleman in disbelief. A Digimon in the growth stage actually had a data value of 7000 points. This was definitely not kidding. Isn't this fake? Isn't that Digimon in the growth stage? Aren't all Digimon in the growth stage worth a few hundred data points? I've never heard of thousands, let alone 7000. This is definitely a joke. How can a Digimon have a data value of 7000 when it is in its growth stage? This is the pinnacle of elite mature stage Digimon. It's fake. It's definitely fake. Holy Angleman must have made a mistake. Yes, that's it. It must have been a mistake. The students couldn't believe this number. They had to know that during the mature period when Holy Angleman was tested, the highest number was only a few Digimon around 3000, and as for those over 4000, there were none. But now Holy Angleman suddenly said that there is a Digimon with a data value of 7000, and this Digimon is not in the mature stage, but in the growth stage, which is a full level lower. So this kind of thing is definitely fake. It must be Holy Angleman joking with them. It has to be said that this number is really too high, so high that even the students cannot accept it, especially in their imagination. The multipath beast only has a data value of 600 or 700 at most, so it can come to Kang. Monthly college registration. But what they never expected was that it was not a few hundred, but 7000. This number was really unexpected. It shocked these students, as if they had received an electric shock. This man's spirit, they all look half mad and half stupid. It's really 7000, he didn't lie to me. Unlike the other students, Mo Xiaoyu had heard about the data values of the Multimon before, but she was just as unbelievable as these students at the time, but now she has details. If the number Holy Angleman said was 4,000 or 5,000, she would definitely not believe it, but Holy Angleman's answer was 7,000, which was the same data value that Teacher Song told her at the beginning. The exact same numbers cannot be said to be a coincidence, but can only be said to be reality. Therefore, No matter how reluctant Mo Xiaoyu is, he has to believe in this reality and at the same time accept that Qin Yun is a more talented animal trainer than himself. 7,000. No more, no less, just right. While the students were talking incessantly, Yi Lao, who was in the tower, had opened his eyes at some point. He seemed to see the Duolu beast and Qin Yun in front of him through the eyes of the holy angel beast, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help. It seems like another interesting little guy has arrived this year. I don't know if I can compare with him. A figure appeared in his mind, and Mr. Yi was a little hopeful. There was such a perverted student this year, maybe he could be let out of the digital tower, and then they would return from last place to first place. Please be quiet, the Digimon are about to be scared by you. At this time, seeing that the scene could not calm down, Seinfeiken shouted. After hearing this, the students closed their mouths, and at the same time, they also discovered that the infant and adult Digimon who were playing around the tower were hugging each other, looking at themselves and others tremblingly, feeling a little embarrassed at the moment. But even so, the students did not finish the numbers mentioned by Holy Engelmann. They were extremely disbelieving in their hearts. Seinfeiken also knew that the students would not believe this, and even he and Teacher Lu could not believe it. However, because he had been mentally prepared before, Seinfeiken calmed down faster than Teacher Lu. Holy Engelmann didn't interfere in what happened after that. He was only responsible for detecting the data values of the students' Digimon. As for other matters, he left it to Seinfeiken and Teacher Lu, while he had to wait for the arrival of the next batch of students. After Teacher Lu came back to his senses, he took a deep look at Qin Yun and Duolumin and then left with the students. Unlike Seinfeiken, the students brought by Teacher Lu all lived in the digital world, and children in the digital world are highly valued by the academy, which is why she is responsible for so many students alone. As for Seinfeiken, if it weren't for the incident of being infected with Digimon, he would be responsible for the students in the digital world like Mr. Lu, instead of going to the human world. After all, in the past, the students in the academy were responsible for such things. You guys wait a minute. After Teacher Lu and the other students reluctantly left here, Seinfeiken did not take Qin Yun and Mo Xiaoyu away immediately, but asked them to stop. Then he snapped his fingers, and a ripple appeared behind him. Then a Gugumon came out of it. Okay, come on up. After summoning Gujaman, Seinfeiken jumped on the back of Gujaman first, and then extended an invitation to Qin Yun and Mo Xiaoyu. Mo Xiaoyu walked up with Duolumin in his arms, and Qin Yun also brought Duolumin to the back of Gujaman. When they all came up, Seinfeiken commanded Gujaman to fly into the sky and leave this forest. After the teachers, students and their Digimon left, Holy Engelmann first went to comfort the Digimon who were scared before, and then walked into the tower and looked at Mr. Yi who was lying with his eyes closed and smiled. Then the body gradually disappeared, leaving only Yi Lao who was still sleeping soundly. The laughter of the Digimon playing at each other came again from outside, and the breeze blew into the tower. After a while, a new group of students followed the teacher and came here. The difference is that except for this group of students, there were also some dark figures coming from the other direction of the tower. If you take a closer look, you can see that they are all Digimon. Although their levels are only in the mature stage, the wings on their backs undoubtedly show that they are angel-type Digimon. Next to these Digimon is a man who looks famous. An animal trainer in his 20s. Chapter 51. Teacher Song, are you kidding me? This is where I will live next. When following Seinfeiken to the residential area, Qin Yun looked at the two-story villa in front of him and asked a little uncertainly. That's right, this is the dormitory arranged for you by the college. It is not only spacious, but also has small courtyards, small swimming pools and other buildings. You can take a good rest in it after you are tired from class. Seinfeiken said. In addition, if you want to change dormitories, it's best to wait until you reach the second grade. Don't change dormitories with others before that, and take good care of the card I gave you before. It's your only key to entering the dormitory. Change dormitory. Just kidding, only a fool would change this place. Qin Yun had asked other students what the dormitory was like, but he felt that the two-story villa in front of him with its own small courtyard and swimming pool was perfect. After all, it was much better than the house he lived in Wadu. Too much. However, Kangyu College is really spending money like water. Such a big villa can be used as a dormitory for students, and it is the kind that does not have to pay accommodation fees. Facing such a powerful person, Qin, a poor girl, can only tremble. Trembling, belly worshipping God. Of course, this is pure nonsense. Judging from the energy points Qin currently has, it is absolutely no problem to get a more luxurious house than this one. After all, the energy points required for life are only just over the top. It's only 100, which is several times less than the energy points a Digimon needs. School starts in 2 weeks. A Digimon will come to notify you then. During this time, you can wander around the academy. Then we'll see you at the start of school. After giving the instructions, Song Fiken commanded the Gujaman to leave. Qin dormitory has been arranged, but Mo Xiaoyu's dormitory is not yet available, so he needs to take Mo Xiaoyu to her dormitory. Wait a minute, Teacher Song. At this time, Qin suddenly called out to Song Fiken, who was about to leave. I would like to ask, is there a digital tower in the academy? Of course, the digital tower is a training building for you students after all. Song Fiken replied, but the location is a bit far. It will take at least a day to get there. If you want to go to the digital tower for training, you can use the teleportation device in the dormitory and you can arrive in 1 minute. Okay, I understand. Qin nodded, and at the same time he breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, there was a digital tower, and now he could get another amount of energy points. Is there anything else? If not, I'll see you at the beginning of school this time. No, thank you very much, Teacher Song. Qin thanked him. Song Fiken smiled slightly, and then let Gujaman take him and Mo Xiaoyu away. Okay, Deluman, let's go in and take a look at our new home. Qin walked into their dormitory with the excited Dualu beast. They first strolled around the small yard outside. This yard didn't look big from the sky, but it actually covered a very large area. Inside there are also many things, including not only rockery ponds, but also garden pavilions, and there is a small swimming pool in the innermost part. It may seem small, but it is enough for 4 or 5 people to play together, and even larger mature Digimon can be put in it without any problems. After walking around the whole yard, Qin took out the card that Song Fiken had given to him before, and then walked into the villa with the multi-root beast. The outside was rich enough, not to mention the inside, which was a must-have on the first floor. All the necessary furniture, and the hall, bedrooms, bathrooms, and kitchen are also concentrated on the first floor. As for the second floor, there are only 2 rooms. In one of them, Qin found some equipment that can allow Digimon to exercise. In this world where Digimon and humans coexist, someone has naturally invented equipment that can be used to exercise Digimon. Although it is not as good as what Qin purchased from the system, it can still exercise the Digimon's physical strength, muscles, etc. Judging from these equipment, the second floor is purely a place for Digimon to exercise. As for the other room, there are some large quilts and pillows placed in it, which is obviously for those large Digimon to live in. This should be the transmission device that Teacher Song mentioned. After looking at the entire yard and the structural decoration of the villa, Qin walked up to an elevator-like door. His eyes fell on the square machine on the wall. He saw 6 square boxes on it, which were called residential area, teaching area, digital tower, living area, arena, mission area. It seems that no complicated operation is required. After seeing these 6 boxes, Qin did not immediately choose to go to the digital tower. Anyway, the digital tower was built in the academy and it was impossible to go elsewhere, so the top priority now was to fill his stomach. It's past noon now. Qin only had something to eat this morning, and then he was taken to Kangyu Academy by Song Fiken. Not to mention him, even the stomach of Dualu Beast started to growl. Fortunately, you don't need to cook lunch by yourself. Although there is a kitchen in the villa, you can cook by yourself. But when he was browsing the kitchen just now, Qin saw a takeout device in the kitchen. And since there was takeout available and it was free, how could Qin still cook by himself? So he ordered takeout without hesitation, and the portion was huge. It's free anyway, so of course he has to eat a lot, not to mention that he has a big stomach like Dualumin here. You must know that since Dualumin evolved into a mature stage, his appetite has become bigger. If it hadn't been before I earned a lot of energy points in the digital tower. I believe that in the last week, Qin will be completely bankrupt. From this, we can see how big the appetite of the multi-lumen has become. It should be almost here. I looked at the time and saw that the meal I ordered was due in 30 minutes. After such a long time, the takeout should have arrived. Xiaoyun, haven't you come yet? At this time, Doroman's feeble voice came. Qin turned his head and looked at Doroman, who was lying on the sofa and lazily watching TV. He shook his head. This kid has become more and more lazy recently. Sure enough, it would be better to throw him into the digital tower. Ding dong. Just when Qin was about to go over and teach Doroman a lesson, a bell sounded outside the door. Qin immediately turned around and walked to the door, stretched out his hand to open the door, and suddenly a Doroman appeared in his field of vision. Hello, this is the takeout you ordered. Bidaman, who was suspended in midair, stretched out his hand and saw a spherical device on his palm. The lunch you ordered is all inside. To use it, just click the button above. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Qin reached out and took the sphere device from Biduoman's hand, and thanked Duoman. The Doroman turned around and left here, and Qin also closed the door. He looked at the ball device the size of a football in his hand and sighed inwardly. The technology in this world is really amazing. Doloman, it's time to eat. After calling out Duoman, who was lying on the sofa, Qin put the sphere device in his hand on the table, and then pressed the button on it according to Bidaman's words before. Suddenly, a beam of light emitted from the spherical device, and then images of food were projected. Seeing this scene, Qin was a little surprised. He originally thought that the spherical device was similar to the capsule in Dragon Ball. Once opened, a large box with food would appear. Unexpectedly, this was not the case. The sphere device did not disappear, but instead projected some images. What is this? The sudden image caught Duluman's attention. Driven by curiosity, he stretched out his hand and lightly clicked on a certain food image. Following Doroman's actions, the image suddenly became mosaic, and then disappeared. Instead, a dish appeared on the table, which was the dish Doloman ordered before. It's actually like this. This technology is quite interesting. After seeing the food appear, Qin immediately understood. At the same time, he became more and more curious about the technology in this world. Even the technology for delivering food was so amazing, so what if it was a technology specifically used to improve Digimon? Qin has never seen any technology that can be used to improve Digimon. Even in Wadu, he rarely saw any novel technology, so he always believed that the scientific development of this world was similar to that of previous lives. But that doesn't seem to be the case now. The technology in this world is even more advanced than in the previous life, but their technology is only used by digital beast trainers, not ordinary people. Doroman is not like Qin, who thinks of so many things when he sees one thing. He is still a child, and a child who has been hungry for a long time, so after seeing how the food appeared, he installed the sphere. The food images projected on the screen were clicked one by one. At that moment, rows of dishes appeared on the table, and as the previous images disappeared, new images appeared from them. In less than a minute, the entire table was filled with dishes. A rough calculation showed that there were more than 20, and that's not counting the untouched food images on the orb device. Okay, Doroman, don't order it for now, finish eating these before we talk. After seeing the multi-monitor and wanting to continue, Qin immediately stopped him. Now there was no free space on the desktop. If he were to click on it again, everything would be on the floor. Although the floor here is very clean, Qin doesn't want the food to be placed on the floor. After all, if it is accidentally touched, it will have to be cleaned. After hearing the words of his trainer, Deluman also stopped what he was doing. He looked at the table full of food in front of him with stars in his eyes, and then he directly picked up a plate of food and started eating. Looking at the Duolu beast that suddenly started gobbling it up, Qin's mouth twitched. If he remembered correctly, he didn't seem to have made the Duolu beast hungry. As for eating, he looked like a beggar who hadn't eaten for several days. Eat slowly, don't be in a hurry, there's still a lot more. After saying something to the Duolu beast, Qin also started eating. He had been starving to death for a long time. However, Qin stopped after eating only a little. It was not because his appetite was too small, but because there was too much food. He could not finish it by himself. As for Duolumin, this guy has a really big appetite. After eating 30 dishes, I still have the appetite to continue eating. Fortunately, Qin Yun had considered this situation before, so he ordered a lot of food this time. Otherwise, he would have to spend some energy points to buy it from the system. After handing over the battlefield to the Duolumin, Qin Yun walked to the bedroom. He sat on the bed, but did not lie down. Instead, he summoned the system silently in his heart. Side mission: become a digital tamer. Mission requirement: graduation from Kangyu College. Mission reward: 100,000 energy points, a lottery chance, a random product, and start the next phase of the mission. It has indeed changed, but the transition from enrollment to graduation is a huge leap. Qin Yun was not surprised when he saw the panel that popped up from the system. He had already received a prompt from the system after the previous registration, but he was not available at the time, so he could only put it aside until now. Forget it, this mission can't be completed for the time being, let's look at the rewards. After closing the mission panel, Qin Yun prepared to receive this reward. After completing the mission, Qin Yun received 1,000 energy points, a lottery opportunity, and the opportunity to activate the digital soul. There is no need to look at energy points for the time being. For Qin Yun now, 1,000 is not a lot, but lottery opportunities and digital souls are more important. Let's take a look at the digital soul first. Speaking of which, this digital soul is in the store, but it has a price tag of 100,000 energy points. It seems that I saved a lot of energy points this time. With a whisper in his mouth, Qin Yun summoned the system in his heart and received the opportunity to activate the digital soul. The digital soul is being activated. Activation completed. As the system prompts fell, Qin Yun seemed to feel that something was coming out of his body, but it seemed like it was not there. It was just like an illusion. However, when he was confused, a white ball appeared in vain on his right hand. Data. Okay. Looking at the white data coming out of his right hand, Qin Yun understood that it was a digital soul even without a systematic explanation. However, he felt that this digital soul was a bit weak. If he hadn't seen it himself, he might have ignored it. This also explains why Qin Yun had an illusion before. It was obviously because the digital soul was too weak. Speaking of which, I remember that there seemed to be some strange digital souls in the digital souls interface in the store. Maybe this has something to do with it. At this time, Qin Yun seemed to remember something, ignored the weak digital soul on his right hand, summoned the system again, and opened the digital soul interface in the store. Digital soul. Digital soul activation. 100,000 energy points. Digital soul D. 100,000 energy points. Digital soul C. 300,000 energy points. Digital soul B. 500,000 energy points. Digital soul A. 800,000 energy points. Looking at the products on the digital soul interface, Qin Yun was sure that he had read it correctly. After all, he rarely looked at stores that required so many energy points. However, this time because the digital soul was activated, it was a bit different from what he imagined. It's different, so he needs to find out why. Of course, Qin Yun could choose to ask the system, but he felt that it would be easier to find the answer directly by going to the store, not to mention that he might need to buy goods from Digital Soul in the future. Since you have to watch it sooner or later, why not figure it out now? Digital Soul D. Improves the basic data adaptation of the Digital Soul holder, has a certain chance to increase the capacity of the Digital Soul, and can be used repeatedly. It seems to be similar to the one in the anime. The Digital Soul also needs to be improved. So if I want to use the Digital Soul to evolve the Digimon, I still need to improve the Digital Soul. After seeing the information about Digital Soul D, Qin Yun probably understood why he felt that his Digital Soul was weak. Obviously, just like in the fifth part, the Digital Soul also needs to be improved before it can exert its most powerful power. System, besides purchasing Digital Soul D, are there any other ways to improve the Digital Soul? Qin Yun remembered that in the original work, the Great Gate Beast improved the Digital Soul through training. In that case, it should also be possible to improve through training, and it does not necessarily require purchasing Digital Soul D. Yes, the host can improve the Digital Soul through physical exercise, but the efficiency is extremely low. It is recommended to purchase Digital Soul D or the like to improve it. That's it, then I won't buy it. Qin Yun simply turned off the digital soul, joking, since it can be improved by exercising, why spend so many energy points to buy it? Although Qin Yun now has a lot of energy points through the 2-star digital tower, the total is only a few 100,000, and with so many energy points, he can only buy the lowest digital soul D, so he might as well go through training. Anyway, I'm not in a hurry to let Doroman evolve to its full form now. As for strength, I still have the spirit of a fighter, so I can take my time with the digital soul. After Qin Yun observed the digital soul on his right hand again, he took the digital soul into his body according to the method given by the system, and then he started to receive the next reward. Ding! The lottery begins. The lottery is over. Congratulations to the host for winning a digital egg. Ha! Digital egg. After hearing the system prompt, Qin Yun was stunned for a moment. Wait, is the thing obtained in this lottery a digital egg? Before Qin Yun could accept it, a burst of white light suddenly appeared in front of his eyes, and then a digital egg appeared from the light and floated in front of Qin Yun. This is a white digital egg with a strange pattern carved on its surface, which seems to be digital text, but it doesn't quite look like it. It's really a digital egg. I didn't expect that even this one could be pulled out. After seeing this digital egg, Qin Yun was a little surprised, because he had never seen a digital egg in the system store. He originally thought that the digital egg could not be purchased, but now it seems that the digital egg may not be available for purchase. But it can be obtained through lottery. But, what's the use of getting a digital egg now? Qin Yun was not happy about getting his second Digimon, because cultivating a Digimon requires a lot of energy points. Currently, Digimon has not yet reached the ultimate form, so he has no intention of cultivating a second Digimon. 2 Digimon. If you start cultivating a second Digimon now, I believe that your hair will fall out sooner or later. Although you will become stronger after losing your hair, Qin Yun feels that your hair is more important than becoming stronger. Hey, I can only hope it doesn't hatch too early. Sighing, Qin Yun finally accepted the digital egg, but he had no intention of cultivating it now, so he could only pray that the digital egg would hatch later. It would be best to wait until he could cultivate Doroman to the ultimate form. At that time it's up to events to develop the second Digimon. System, can the digital egg be put into space? Taking the digital egg in his hand, Qin Yun suddenly thought that it would be very dangerous if he was holding the digital egg, but if he kept it in the dormitory and didn't know when it hatched, that wouldn't be good. Since this can only ask if the system can be put into the system space. No, then is there any way to let me know when the digital egg hatches? Since I can't put it into the system space, I can only see if there are other ways, otherwise I really can only put it in the dormitory. The host can purchase a home. The sound of the system came again, and then a screen appeared in front of Qin Yun's eyes with a word on it. Home, a different space where Digimon can live. It can provide an environment for Digimon from different fields to live in. The Digimon living in it can obtain a certain degree of data improvement and potential development. Is there such a thing as a home? After seeing the introduction of Jiayuan, Qin Yun was a little surprised. He didn't expect that the system could buy such a thing, but generally speaking, shouldn't this kind of function come with the system? System, how many energy points are needed to buy a home? Qin Yun asked tentatively. If the price is not high, then he can consider buying it. To unlock the home, you need to have the system level to level 2 and pay 100,000 energy points. 100,000 energy points. Let's unlock it first. When he heard about 100,000 energy points, Qin Yun didn't want to unlock it, but considering the relationship between the digital egg and the possibility of using his homeland in the future, the function seemed pretty good, especially the data increase and potential development. As for the system level reaching level 2, Qin Yun had already achieved this a long time ago. The level of the system requires consuming energy points, and upgrading from level 1 to level 2 requires 100,000 energy points. As early as when he was in Wadu, Qin Yun's energy point cost exceeded 100,000, so the system had been upgraded at that time, but the upgrade did not bring any actual benefits, so Qin Yun didn't care too much. But now it seems that this is not the case. It is not that there are no benefits, but that there are some things that you need to ask yourself, or the system can tell you. After deducting 100,000 energy points, the home is successfully unlocked. System, put the digital egg into your home. After unlocking his home, Qin Yun threw the digi-egg into his home. Because this is where the Digimon live, Qin cannot enter and naturally cannot see the scenery inside. But this is not a big problem. If you want to know what the home is like, you can let Delumen go and see it. The most important thing is that Qin did not unlock it just to see what the home is like. He did it to avoid digital the eggs hatched without their knowledge, and at the same time they were interested in two functions of their home. After finishing the digital soul in the lottery, Qin opened his personal attributes and spent so many energy points. He needed to see how many energy points he had left to avoid unreasonable use of energy points. Host: Qin. Level 2. Occupation: Junior Animal Tamer. Digimon: Multimon. Possessions: Dark Warrior Spirit, Digital Soul. Energy points: 61,700. There are still 60,000 left, so that's okay. After seeing his current energy points, Qin was expressionless. When he decided to open his home, he knew that his energy points would be greatly reduced. Although challenging the 2-star digital tower brought him at least 13 more than 10,000 energy points. But in fact, most of these energy points were used to purchase digital props. Even if they passed the last level and obtained a high amount of 30,000 energy points, it was still far from enough. Just like this time, it costs 100,000 energy points to open a home, and the digital props needed to train Doromon will be higher and higher, not to mention the energy needed to evolve Dolomon into a complete body, points, and you may also want to purchase props such as Digital Soul D. The cost has not been reduced because the data value of Doromon has exceeded 10,000, but has increased. Fortunately, there is a digital tower in Kangyu Academy, so there is no need to worry about running out of energy points. I just don't know if there is a 3-star digital tower in Kangyu Academy. If there is, it will be a huge amount of energy points. Dolman, don't lie down after eating, you will get fat. After coming out of the bedroom, he came to the living room and looked at the multifaceted beast lying on the sofa with a big belly and a lazy look. Qin glanced at the plates under the sofa. By rough calculation, there were probably hundreds of plates. That is to say, during the time when Qin went to the bedroom, Doromon ate another 100 dishes. This is not counting the dishes he has destroyed before. Besides, there is no dirt on these plates. Instead, they look like new plates that have just been bought. You can imagine how clean the Doromon was eating at that time. Hiccup, but Xiaoyun, I'm so full, I don't want to move. Duolumin burped and replied with a satisfied look on his face. It had been a long time since he had eaten so well, even though he was at home. Qin also prepared a lot of food for himself, but this time there was a little more food. Are you sure you don't want to move? I'm going to the digital tower now, don't you want to go with me? Qin chuckled. At that moment, Doromon stood up from the sofa. His eyes glowed with golden light, and his fat belly instantly returned to its original appearance. Then Doromon ran to Qin. Do you want to go to the digital tower now? I want to go too. I want to go too. Didn't you say you didn't want to move? I just didn't want to move just now, but now I want to move. Duolumin looked confident, and then he said coquettishly to Qin, so Xiaoyun, I'm going too, you will definitely take me with you, right? Quote. You'd better stop talking in this tone. Qin only felt numb. He was really not used to such a multi-root beast. I'll just take you there. Don't look at me like that again. Ah, great, we can go to the digital tower again. After receiving Qin's answer, Duolumin jumped up happily. He hadn't gone to the digital tower for a week. Now he could finally go. For him, it was no less than a big meal, and even more filling. The belly is even more important. Okay, don't get too excited, it's time to go. After stopping the excitement of Doromon, Qin walked to the transmission device. He reached out and clicked on the digital tower box on the machine next to him. With this move, the door in front of him was opened, and everything inside was opened. No, it was blank, similar to the white passage Qin walked when he came to Kangyu College. It seems that the previous channel is also a kind of technology. After seeing this scene, Qin muttered to himself, and then he took the Duolu beast in. When he and the Duolu beast entered, the door was closed again, and then Qin felt there was a shaking. Although it was not enough to make him unable to stand, it still made it impossible for him to move forward at all. This shaking lasted for about 10 seconds and then gradually disappeared. Then Qin Yun heard the sound of a door opening from behind. He subconsciously turned his head and saw that the door had been opened again. However, the scenery outside was not the same. It's not a dormitory, but a relatively large space. Arrived already? So fast. Looking at the unfamiliar environment outside, Qin Yun was a little confused. He originally thought he had to walk there by himself, but he didn't expect that it was like an elevator, going straight to the digital tower, and the speed was very fast, which made it difficult for him for the first time. He couldn't calm down while riding. Xiaoyun, is this the place where the digital tower is? Duolumin looked outside the gate and saw several buildings outside, which looked a bit like columns, and each building had a carved figure on it. There are Digimon in the juvenile stage, such as Rollerman, in the growing stage, Pupmon, and even mature and complete Digimon. It's just that these are all carved on the building, not carved separately, so they don't give people a very real feeling, but instead seem to indicate the level. It shouldn't be wrong, it's my first time here too. As he spoke, Qin Yun took Duolu Beast out. When they came outside, the door was closed again, but it did not attract the attention of Qin Yun and Duolu Beast. At this time, their eyes were focused all around. In addition to the few buildings I saw before, there are other buildings in the surrounding area. To be precise, they are gates. There are 8 doors in total. There are 2 monitors placed around the door, which look very similar. The kind of display Qin Yun saw when he went to the digital tower of the Digital Alliance branch. In addition to these, there are some statues of Digimon placed directly in front of these doors, all of which are complete Digimon. There are no statues of mature Digimon at all, and these statues are not piled together. Instead, they are placed on different ladders, and it looks like they are ranking these perfect Digimon. Because Qin Yun brought Doroman this time, not Sign Fiken, so he didn't know exactly what these Digimon statues represented, but there was no need to know. After all, the purpose this time was go to the digital tower. It's exactly what I thought. Behind these gates is the digital tower. After arriving at the first gate, Qin Yun saw a line of words written on the top of the gate, 1-star digital tower. He immediately confirmed his guess, and then he led Duolumin to the second door. The name on the second gate is a little different from the first gate. One of the stars has become a 2-star, which means that this gate is a 2-star digital tower. Seeing this, Qin Yun was overjoyed. He quickly took the multi-monitor to the third door. When he saw the big Samsung digital tower written on it, the smile on his face became even bigger. 3-star digital tower. Judging from this order, the remaining doors are also digital towers. Doesn't that mean there is an 8-star digital tower here? After confirming that the third door was the Samsung digital tower, Qin Yun did not rush to let Doroman challenge it, but quickly walked towards the fourth door. Hey, it's not 4 stars. However, when he came to the fourth door and saw the words above, Qin Yun was a little surprised, because it was not written as a 4-star digital tower, but as a 3-star digital tower, the same as the third door. This situation was a bit inconsistent with the previous digital tower, but it also aroused Qin Yun's curiosity. He continued to walk towards the 5th door. However, this time what he saw was not a digital tower, but other words written on it. Virtual digital field. Virtual digital field. What is this? Qin Yun, who saw this word for the first time, was a little unclear about the meaning of folding door, but one thing that was certain was that this door was not the entrance to the digital tower. What about the 6th door? Since the 5th door has changed, does that mean that the ones behind it have also changed? With such suspicion, Qin Yun came to the 6th door, and then he found that the words on it had also changed again. Ecological simulation room. Another one who doesn't understand. It seems there are still many things that need to be investigated. As before, this was the first time for Qin Yun to see the ecological simulation room. Although he could guess it by the name, it would be embarrassing if he made a mistake, so he did not need to care, but came to the 7th room with curiosity. Door. 4-star digital tower. Hey, I actually turned back into a digitower this time. When he came to the 7th door and looked at the words on it, Qin Yun was a little surprised. He originally thought that the 3-star digital tower was the highest, but he didn't expect that there was also a 4-star digital tower hidden here. It seemed that he still needed challenge 2 more digital towers to complete the side mission. What about the last one? Is it a 5-star digital tower? Or is it a new one? Qin Yun's curiosity was getting bigger and bigger. He came to the 8th door with great expectations. However, this time there was no text on the door, and there were not even monitors on both sides. This made Qin Yun stunned. He originally thought that the 8th door was either a 5-star digital tower or something he had never heard of, but he did not expect that there was no information at all about the 8th door, which made Qin Yun even more curious. Obviously the 7 doors in front have their own names, why is there not the 8th door? Is it because the inside has not been built yet, or is the 8th door just a decoration? He was confused and curious in his heart, but because there were no other animal trainers here except himself, it was impossible for Qin Yun to find out. Therefore, he could only suppress the curiosity in his heart, and with the thought that he had already unable to hold it any longer, Doorman came to the 3rd door. The cardholder does not have sufficient permissions to open the Samsung Digital Tower. After inserting the dormitory card that Seinfeld gave him before, or to be precise, the student card, into the machine next to the door, Qin Yun, who was fully expecting to go to the Samsung Digital Tower to have a big fight, was suddenly reminded by this sound. Pour cold water on it. You still need permission to do something. Qin Yun never expected that challenging the Samsung Digital Tower would require permission. It was agreed that the students would come to the Digital Tower to train. How could they train if they had permission? Qin Yun never thought that the level of the Digital Tower he challenged was a bit high. Generally, most students who have just entered school can only train in 2-star digital towers, and some can only train in 1-star digital towers. As for the Samsung Digital Tower, only second-year students have the ability to train their own trainers by fighting virtual Digimon inside. After all, the Digimon in the Samsung Digital Tower are much higher than those in the 2-star Digital Tower. How many? Therefore, in order to avoid some students who are not aware of this, the student cards sent by the college have some restrictions, and if you want to break these restrictions, you must complete the conditions in the card. Of course, Qin Yun didn't know about these. He just signed up today. How could he be familiar with the rules of Kang Yu Academy? So when he learned that he couldn't challenge the Samsung Digital Tower, he felt a little depressed, but what was even more depressed than him was Multiman. Xiaoyun, can't I enter the Digital Tower? Duolumin said with a depressed face. The smile before had long disappeared. He had been looking forward to it for a long time, but now he can't challenge the Digital Tower. This feeling is really terrible. It's uncomfortable. You can't enter the 3-star Digital Tower. Let's see if the 2-star Digital Tower works. If not, you can only go to the 1-star Digital Tower. Qin Yun took out his student card, adjusted his mood, and prepared to try the 2-star Digital Tower. Digital Tower. Since he can't get 3 stars, he can only get 2 stars. As for 1 star, Qin Yun doesn't think much about it. After all, the level is too low to have any training effect. After hearing Qin Yun's words, Duolumin regained his energy a little. As long as he can challenge the Digital Tower, even if the 2-star Digital Tower has no pressure on him now, it is better than not being able to challenge it. The Digital Tower is better. The student's identity has been confirmed, and the 2-star Digital Tower will be opened soon. After arriving at the 2nd door and inserting the student card, Qin Yun heard this prompt, and the tension on his face disappeared instantly. Fortunately, he could still challenge the 2-star Digital Tower, although he couldn't afford the current multi-channel beast. It's too useful, but it's better than challenging the 1-star Digital Tower. After all, after passing the entire 2-star Digital Tower, you can get hundreds of thousands of energy points, which is much higher than the energy points you get by clearing the 1-star Digital Tower. Dolman, get ready, and then we will start challenging the 2-star Digital Tower. After taking out the student card again, Qin Yun said to Duolumin. Okay. Duolumin also heard the prompt just now, and immediately prepared for battle, waiting for the door to open and enter the Digital Tower. However, there was no sign of the door in front of them being opened. Instead, a white light appeared under the feet of Qin Yun and Duolu Beast. Before they could lower their heads to see the true face of the white light, their eyes suddenly lit up, causing them to subconsciously close it. Eyes. When they opened their eyes again, Qin Yun and Duolumin found that they had arrived on the familiar platform, and there was a growing Digimon in front of them. It seems that the door is also a decoration. After figuring out the situation, Qin Yun laughed. After working on it for a long time, it turned out that those gates were all decorations, but if you think about it carefully, it was quite normal. After all, each gate was not very big. If too many students appeared to challenge, the digital tower is definitely inaccessible, so it will naturally require some special means. Okay, Doroman, let's start your performance. Chin Yun didn't pay much attention to it. Now that he's come in, it's time to start making money, and at the same time, it's time to let the multi-root beast vent. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Bursts of sound echoed in this small space, and piles of strange-shaped mechanical devices were piled here, making the originally small space even more crowded. In the center of all the mechanical devices, a young man in a white coat was sitting on the floor covered with white paper. He lowered his head and studied the things in his hands. It was a stone, the entire size of which was only the size of a palm. There was a pattern carved on its surface, which looked similar to the sun, but what was different from the sun was that the circles surrounding the sphere were not fire patterns, but circular prisms. If Chin Yun were here, he would definitely be surprised to see this pattern, because this pattern is a badge of courage. Hey, is there a new reaction from the digital tower? The young man who was studying the patterns on the stone seemed to hear something. He raised his head, ignored the noise, and moved his eyes to the screen of a device in front of him, where he saw a picture being played. The entire screen is blue, and there are only 2 lines of words on it, which are the names of humans and Digimon. In addition, behind the Digimon, there is this number. Chin Yun, freshman, 1st grade. Multimon, growth stage, 7,000 data value. Oh, 7,000. Growth period. When he saw the numbers behind the Digimon, the boy was stunned for a moment. He blinked and made sure that he had not seen it wrong. He put the stone in his hand on the floor, then stood up and walked quickly to the device. Before. It's really 7,000. The growth stage Digimon has a data value of 7,000. Is it true? After looking at the numbers on the screen and confirming again that he had read it correctly, the boy's voice contained a hint of surprise. He seemed not to have expected that there would be a growth stage Digimon with a data value of 7,000. This is really, too interesting now. Let me see, I'm challenging the 2-star digital tower. He reached out and swiped the screen, and the screen changed. The blue interface disappeared and was replaced by the screen in the digital tower. The boy looked at Doroman, who was fighting mature Digimon in the screen. He reached out and clicked on the Doroman, and a number suddenly appeared behind him. 7,000. It was exactly the same as the data that appeared before, which made the boy even more interested. It seems that there is a very powerful new student coming to the school this year. Maybe he can interest that guy a little bit. The image of a certain person appeared in his mind, and the smile on the young man's mouth grew bigger and bigger. His right hand slid the screen again, and the picture in the digital tower disappeared, replaced by a white page. The data value of 7,000 is comparable to the elite maturity stage, so the virtual Digimon starting from the 30th level will have to increase their data value a little. Muttering to himself, the boy kept tapping the screen. With every move he made, some words continued to appear on the white page. However, these words were not human, but digital words. Most people could not read them at all. Don't know. Only a beast tamer who studies digital text can understand these words, and the boy happens to be a beast tamer who has studied digital text. If we take into account that the opponent may break through evolution at any time, and his data value evolves to the mature stage, he will definitely surpass the average perfect form and meet the minimum requirements of the elite perfect form. In this case, the last level of virtual Digimon will be a bit if it's not good enough. Let's give it a boost so that it can take on the data of this Digimon. His hands were constantly operating, modifying the data values, strength, defense, etc. of the virtual Digimon in the 2-star digital tower. The young man stretched out his free hand and snapped his fingers into the void. Suddenly, there was a fluctuation behind him, and then a black shadow came out of it. Sagemon, go check deep into the Digitower and see if that guy is still there. If he is, tell him that a growth stage Digimon with a data value of 7,000 has arrived this year. Okay. The full-scale Sagemon looked at his trainer, and then he walked into the ripples behind him, left the space, and set off towards his destination. Then, let me see how you perform now. Since you can cultivate a Digimon of this level, I believe you won't let me down. After finalizing the last digital text, the situation in the digital tower reappeared on the screen. This time the boy's eyes were not on Doroman, but on Qin Yun. He was looking forward to the next battle. What kind of performance this freshman will have. But now he was challenging the 23rd floor, and his modifications started from the 30th floor, so it would still take some time. The boy did not wait any longer. He returned to the previous position and picked up the stone again. But this time the boy did not continue to study, but put the head of water into a container, then turned off the noisy devices and took another small device. Then he returned to the screen, watched the battle in the digital tower, and opened device in hand. This is a spherical device. After it is opened, a center of the circle appears with a red light on it, facing the screen. It seems to be recording the battle in the digital tower above, or detecting something. Sure enough, the current battle has no effect at all on Multiman. Qin Yun, who was in the 2-star digital tower at this time, did not know that the battle on his side was being watched. He focused his eyes on the front, looking at the mature Digimon who was suppressed and beaten by Doroman and had no resistance, a little troubled. As I thought before, it is not stressful at all for Doroman who has already passed the data value to fight these mature Digimon who only have 3000, and this situation naturally does not allow Doroman to have a training effect. Unless it is a direct challenge to the last level of perfect Digimon, it can make the growth stage Doroman work hard. Of course, if it evolves, it will return to its original appearance. Generally speaking, the effect that the 2-star digital tower can bring is less and less. If you want to continue to improve the Multimon, it is best to challenge the 3-star digital tower. I believe it is 1 star more than the 2-star digital tower. There must be a lot of perfect Digimon in the Samsung digital tower. It's a pity that now I don't have permission to enter the Samsung digital tower, so I can only make do with the 2-star digital tower for the time being. Later I have to ask Sine Fiken how to get permission to enter the Samsung digital tower. Hey, it's strange, how come this data value has increased so much? When he arrived at the 30th floor, Qin Yun discovered that the maturity data value of the 30th floor had changed. Digimon, Deltamon, Attribute, Virus Species, Type, Fitted, Grade, Mature Stage, Data Value, 6000. If I remember correctly, the number starting from the 30th floor should be 3500. Why did it become 6000 this time? When he saw that Deltaman's data value was 6000 instead of 3005, Qin Yun was very confused. This 2-star digital tower was a little different from what he knew. It seems to have gotten stronger. Unlike Qin Yun who uses the system to see Deltaman's data values, Multiman, as a Digimon, can sense the opponent's strong, 080, degree to a certain extent, so when Deltamon appears, it can be felt that Deltaru is stronger than the virtual Digimon encountered before. However, Duolumin was not as confused as Qin Yun. Even though he could feel the aura brought by Deltamon, which was much stronger than the Demonman he had encountered earlier, it only made Duolumin even more excited. There will be no other effect. It's a good thing to become stronger, otherwise it would be boring to just kill instantly. It's so easy for Domon, who has a data value of over 10,000, to defeat these virtual Digimon with only 3,000, and it's not interesting at all. But now that a decent opponent has finally appeared, Doroman can't even be happy. How could you possibly think about anything else? At that moment, Duolumin rushed forward. He did not use his strongest strength to kill Deltamon instantly like before. Instead, he used a power similar to that of Deltamon and started a hand-to-hand fight. Well, forget it, now that Duolumin is happy, don't think about it so much. Maybe this is a characteristic of Kangyu Academy's digital tower. Looking at Doroman with a smile on his face, Qin Yun didn't think about why the data value of Digimon on the 30th level would increase explosively. Anyway, as long as Doroman is happy, that's all, let alone 6000. It's not like the maturity period of data values has never been reached. Isn't 6000 enough to tie the knot? It seems to be more interesting than I imagined. The boy hiding in a certain room was watching the battle on the digital tower. Even though the battle between Doroman and Deltamon seemed to be neck and neck, the boy knew very well that the seemingly neck and neck battle was actually not the same. The whole world is guided by multi-path beasts. All of Deltaman's attacks are induced by Multiman, without any thought of its own. Although the virtual Digimon themselves do not have any intelligence, their battles are also very simple, that is, special moves and special backhand moves. and then defeat Digimon of the same level with its own data value that far exceeds that of ordinary Digimon. Generally speaking, when facing a virtual Digimon, as long as the trainer directs it well and the data value of the Digimon partner is not worse than the virtual Digimon, it can basically be easily defeated. However, if you want the Digimon to guide the virtual Digimon in battle, it is a bit difficult for a Digimon to launch attacks other than special moves and special moves against itself. However, in this battle, Duolumin had no difficulty at all, making Deltamon fall into his rhythm and could only fight with him instead of following the settings in the digital tower. This situation made the boy even more interested. It was only 1,000 data points higher than Deltamon, but it was able to do this. Then there were only two possibilities. One was that Duolumin's data value was not what it seemed. The 7,000 above is actually higher, but this kind of thing is impossible. Because all the devices on the boy's side are the latest technology, it is almost impossible to avoid their investigation, so there is only the second possibility. Super high combat awareness and experience. If his trainer is also allowed to join the battlefield, I believe this battle will end faster. He muttered to himself, and the young man suddenly regretted that he had not set the difficulty level before. To improve a little further, it seems that if you want to see the ability of the animal trainer, you need to wait until the last level. This is also good, and you can record a lot of material. While the boy was talking to himself, the battle in the digital tower came to an end. Duolumin seemed to be tired of it. After dodging Deltamon's triple energy cannon, it appeared behind him and punched him. This punch did not hold anything back, bringing out the true power of Duolumin. Therefore, with one punch, Deltamon instantly fell to the ground, and then turned into white light and disappeared. The Duolumin returned to its original position, waiting for the opponent on the next level. Qin Yun, who was inside the screen, always felt a little bored watching this unsuspicious battle, so he summoned the system silently in his heart. Get ready to take a look at the items in the store. In the past, because the things in the store required a lot of energy points, and Qin Yun had very few energy points at the time, he basically didn't play much, but now the way to obtain energy points is not as difficult as before, so he should take a closer look of goods in the store. Otherwise, if you want to buy something in the future, it will undoubtedly be a waste of time to ask the system first. Anyway, you don't need to worry about the safety of the Multimon before the last level, so why not spend your time on useful things? The virtual Digimon on the 31st floor appeared, and Multimon rushed forward like before. This time, the virtual Digimon's data value was 200 more than Deltamon, which was 6,002. Facing Multimon, the beast has no resistance at all. In addition, Duolumin was tired of playing in the previous battle, so this time he did not hold back, but showed his best. As for Qin Yun, all his energy was already in the store and he didn't care about the battle at all. Naturally, this scene was seen by the young man who was hiding in the dark and observing. Being distracted during the battle, 2.4 has a lot of confidence in his Digimon. Looking at the current Qin Yun, a picture could not help but emerge in the young man's mind, and a wry smile suddenly appeared on his face. Just like that guy, could it be said that all animal trainers of their kind are like this? Then it's really annoying. But at this rate, I believe it won't take much time to reach the best level. Unfortunately, he is a freshman now and cannot challenge the 3-star digital tower. The upper limit of the 2-star digital tower is still too low after all. Watching Duolumin pass through the 31st floor in 1 minute and start the challenge of the 32nd floor, the boy was a little unhappy with the restrictions of the digital tower for the first time, so at this time, he made a decision: let's increase the authority of this new student when school starts, so that it will be easier for you to conduct research. While Qin Yun was addicted to the system store, the battle between Digimon did not stop, but instead accelerated. Each level ended 1 or 2 seconds faster than the previous level, even if the virtual Digimon's data value it's getting higher and higher, but it still can't affect Duolumin. Even in the mature stage with a data value of 7,000, Multimon can achieve complete suppression. This situation is natural, but for the young man who is peeping, it is an amazing thing. Especially when the boy saw that Multimon could easily defeat Digimon with a data value of 9,000, he began to wonder if his new technology was malfunctioning. Otherwise, who would tell him the growth period of a data value of 7,000, how could it so easily defeat the maturity stage of 9,000 data values? It's really getting more and more interesting. It seems like this Digimon has been trained to its limit. After seeing the multi-root beast passing through the 49th floor and about to start the final challenge, the young man could no longer hold back his inner impulse. If he hadn't already had a research task 24 on his hands, he would have been there as early as when Lumen defeated the 9000 data value Digimon. He ran to the 2-star Digitower. But this time, the boy also understood that he needed to research a machine that could better detect the specific data values of Digimon. At this point, he no longer thought that Digimon simply had the data of an elite maturity stage. There must be other tricks in it. As for whether you can find it out, you have to rely on yourself. Of course, you can also ask the trainer of the Doroman, but it would be too boring if everything could be done so quickly. This is the last game. How far can you go in the face of the complete body? Let me see, King Digimon. Seeing that the challenge of the 50th level was officially launched, the young man's attention was also focused on it. At this point, he no longer thought that Doroman could only reach the elite maturity level. At least it's a king-level Digimon. This type of Digimon has not appeared for a long time. The last King Digimon was born hundreds of years ago, and now I can actually see a mature King Digimon. Long-term Digimon. The new students in these years have really become more and more terrifying. Digimon. Masterdramon. Attribute. Vaccine type. Type. Dinosaur type. Level. Complete. Data value. 30,000. The data value of 30,000 is fully twice as high as the original mechanical Tyrannosaurus. When Doroman entered the last level, Chinyan also backed out of the store. Then he saw a huge dinosaur with gray skin. He was Doroman's complete opponent this time. At the same time, his data, just like a mature Digimon that suddenly changed on the 30th floor, its value has doubled. It seems that we have to fight seriously this time. The data value of 30,000 is only more than 20,000 less than the maturity stage of Multimon. With the current level alone, there is no chance of winning. After seeing the data value of Big Dragonman, Chinyan knows very well that Duelmon in the growth stage alone will never be able to defeat Master Megadramon. Even though Doroman's data value is over 10,000, it is still 20,000 less than Master Dragonman. What's more, Doroman is in its growth stage and its opponent is a complete body, spanning 2 levels. Dueluman, come back first, don't attack rashly. Chinyan quickly stopped Dueluman, who was about to fight Master Dragonman. Calm down first, the opponent's data value is 3 times your current one. 3 times. Hearing the words of his trainer, Dueluman immediately stopped his body, and then looked at Master Megadramon with a solemn expression. Doroman knows his own data value very well, because Chinyan told him, so after hearing that Megadramon is 3 times his own data value, doesn't that mean that there are at least 30,000 perfect Digimon in front of him? Left and right data values. If this is really the case, then I will definitely not be able to defeat him now. Digimon knows very well that the greater the gap between data values, the greater the gap between Digimon will be. You must know that his data value of 10,000 points is enough to overpower Digimon with a data value of more than 9,000. This is only 1,000 less, and the current Master Megadramon has a gap of 20,000 with himself. If he had really charged forward just now, he would have been killed instantly. However, facing such a powerful enemy, Doroman did not have any fear, but the fighting spirit on his face became stronger and stronger. The previous mature Digimon were too weak and could not let themselves enjoy themselves at all, but now what appears as it is a complete Digimon, and its data value is even greater than that of the mechanical Greymon we encountered last time. Doesn't that mean that I can perform well this time? Momon, evolve to the mature stage first and show your strongest state. Just when Doroman was about to ask his trainer to let him evolve, Chinyan seemed to find out what Doroman wanted to say and directly gave him the instruction he wanted most. Oh, leave it to me, Xiaoyun. Doroman shouted loudly. His blood was high, and he clasped his hands tightly, and then the light of evolution burst out from the body, sprinting through Doroman's body in an instant. At the same time, the time finally came to 1 minute, 427. Master Megadramon completely woke up. Ultra high heat flame. According to the settings of the Digitower, the moment Master Megadramon woke up, he directly launched his signature technique, and flames suddenly spurted out from the end and rushed towards the light of evolution. If Master Megadramon had a digital Tamer, he would definitely not do this, because the digital tamers know very well that when a Digimon evolves, it cannot be interrupted at all, unless it is that kind of powerful researcher. Polar Digimon, otherwise, even a complete Digimon cannot stop the evolution of other Digimon. Because the defensive power brought by the light of evolution has exceeded the level that perfect Digimon can destroy. Only the ultimate body can do this, but if we are faced with the evolution from the perfect body to the ultimate body, the light that even the ultimate Digimon may not be able to break. After all, this light of evolution is a bug-level power among Digimon, and cannot be broken by ordinary Digimon. Boom boom. The flames hit the light of evolution, but did not cause any harm. Then the light of evolution gradually disappeared, and a Digimon that resembled Doromon, but its size was improved and had a bunch of wings on its back, appeared. Dolgamon. It's not breakthrough evolution, but independent evolution. This guy has trained Digimon to the point where they can evolve freely. When he saw on the screen that Doromon evolved to the mature stage under the instructions of the trainer, the boy was frightened again. He thought that Doromon was forced to break through from the growth stage to the mature stage in this battle. After all, this kind of thing has never happened. In other words, the Digitower is just such a function, a kind of training used to allow Digimon to break through their own levels. But what the young man never expected was that Doromon did not evolve through a breakthrough in a desperate situation, but evolved under the instructions of the trainer. What does this mean? It shows that Doromon can evolve into a mature form long ago. It's time, it's just that he has degenerated. And this means that this Doromon has mastered the ability to evolve freely. In addition, it is the first time for the boy to see a Digimon like Doromon, and the shock in his heart is undoubtedly aggravated. Mastering free evolution and evolving into an unknown Digimon is simply incredible, and it is becoming more and more valuable for research. If I had known that such great material would come in, I wouldn't have done this task. At this moment, the young man completely regretted why he had accepted this task in the first place. I really want to go over there and study Duolumin. I really want to see how the data in his body is constructed. Ah, I'm so angry. The boy here is regretting that the battle in the digital tower has already begun. Dalacommon, do you need my command, or? No, Xiaoyun, let me try. After evolving to a mature stage, Dorugamon was once again full of energy. He refused the command of his trainer and wanted to see if he could defeat Master Megadramon on his own. Okay, then you have to be careful. Qin Yun respects Dalacommon's choice, and at the same time, he also wants to see how powerful Dalacommon can be after mastering its own data. Dorugamon's eyes fell on Master Dramon again. I don't know if it was because of his evolution, but Master Dramon did not launch a sudden attack like before. Instead, he looked at Doracommon, as if he was confirming something. Dorugamon would not wait any longer. When he saw that Master Megadramon was not attacking, he started to take action. He stepped forward and sprinted forward, arriving at Master Megadramon at an astonishing speed. In front of him, a fist hit him in the stomach. Bang! A dull sound spread. Master Dramon did not dodge at all, and withstood Dalagamon's punch head-on. However, unlike the previous virtual Digimon, Master Dramon was not knocked away by this punch. There wasn't even a scream. Doracommon's fist failed for the first time. After Dorugamon launched the attack, Master Megadramon seemed to have finally determined that his enemy was this Digimon. He then waved his right paw and attacked Dorugamon. Faced with the attack of the complete body, Dalagamon did not dare to be careless. He quickly retreated and avoided Master Dramon's attack at a faster speed. At the same time, he punched it again, but this punch, just like before, it has no effect at all. This made Dalagamon wonder if his strength had become smaller, but Master Dramon's attack in the next second gave him no chance to think, and he could only be forced to dodge zero. Dorgamon, who originally had higher data value than Master Megadramon, was forced to only defend. This kind of thing surprised both Dorgamon and Qin Yun. When did the Digimon in the digital tower so awesome? It looks like he was shocked. It's not in vain that I raised Master Dragonman's defense to the elite level. Quote. Seeing the expressions on the faces of Doracommon and Qin Yun in the dark, the boy finally smiled. He had been frightened several times by one person and one beast before, but now he finally saw them surprised, and he felt a little relieved. Although the data value cannot be improved, in terms of strength and defense, it is no longer weaker than the elite complete body. Let me see if you can defeat the elite complete body when you have evolved to a mature stage. Qin Yun didn't know that Master Megadramon had been transformed into a complete form that could rival the elites. He was still surprised that Master Megadramon forced Doroman to retreat continuously in this battle and was unable to fight back at all. In one scene, inexplicably, the side with lower data values is fighting against the side with higher data values. This kind of subverts Qin Yun's understanding of digital combat in this world. Dorugamon, come back first, don't attack anymore. Seeing that Dorukamon was getting more and more disadvantaged in this battle, Qin Yun immediately called him back. Just follow my command for the rest of the battle. I understand, Xiao Yun. After putting a certain distance between Masterdramon and Masterdramon, Dalagamon heard this. Although he felt a little unwilling, he also understood that it was absolutely impossible to defeat Masterdramon on his own and that he would have to use his own trainer. The power will do. Use the powerful metal ball first. Qin Yun gave the order. At that moment, Dalagamon launched his special move without hesitation, and a huge iron ball appeared out of thin air. Because he had done training on controlling data before, the iron ball that appeared this time was not like the last time. As big as. Although this method is much less powerful, it can at least hit the target. Master Flame. When he saw the huge iron ball rushing towards him, Master Megadramon did not hesitate to launch his special move. In an instant, red flames emerged from the end, flying forward with enthusiasm towards the huge iron ball. Collide together. Right now, Dorugamon aims at Masterdramon's eyes and launches an attack. However, just as Master Megadramon's attention was focused on the giant iron ball, Qin Yun once again issued new instructions to Dalagamon. Upon hearing this command, Dalagamon's eyes lit up, and then he ignored the rising temperature around him and the flames rushing toward him, and ran and sprinted in front of Masterdramon, jumped, and was unable to do so before the opponent could do anything. When the flames were immediately lifted, a claw directly pierced Masterdramon's eye. Roar, heart-wrenching screams spread, and the flames that were melting the iron ball disappeared. Then Master Megadramon covered the wound stabbed by Dalagamon with both hands, and his body fell to the ground, constantly let out a scream. Now is the time, use the full power of the metal ball to give way. Naturally, Qin Yun would not miss this opportunity and issued a new order to Dalakamon. In fact, even if he did not issue an order, Dalakamon would already know what to do next. An even bigger iron ball appeared than before. This was Doroman's real full-force attack. Because Masterdramon fell to the ground, he couldn't dodge it at all, so he didn't need to worry about the powerful metal ball not hitting the target. There was only a loud rumble, and the entire platform seemed to have experienced an earthquake of more than 10 magnitudes. The iron ball covered everything in front. When the sound and shaking disappeared, Qin Yun heard the familiar prompt. Congratulations to the challenger for clearing the 2-star digital tower. Ding! Dorugamon defeated Masterdramon and obtained 30,000 energy points. In the mysterious room, use the metal ball to attract Master Megadramon's attention. Let him focus on the iron ball, and then let his Digimon attack from the side. Looking at the battle on the screen, the corner of the young man's mouth slightly curled up. The target is still the most vulnerable eye that Master Megadramon cannot defend, and finally catch the moment when he fell to the ground with his right eye missing, and decide the winner. How can he win in such a situation? In a short period of time, he can find a commander who can make up for the shortcomings of Digimon, and he is worthy of being a trainer who can cultivate King Digimon. Originally, in the boy's mind, Qin Yun was able to cultivate the King Digimon thanks to the family of trainers behind him. This kind of thing is not impossible to happen, although the King Digimon has basically never been tamed. It has appeared in the Master family, but the Digital Alliance has trained them before, and their 4 major colleges have jointly trained several. It has been so many years since the last one, and with technology developing so fast, it is possible for a family of trainers to cultivate a King Digimon. But now it seems that maybe this new student is not relying entirely on the family's ability. Judging from this point of command, the opponent's actual combat experience is also very high, and he can quickly make up for the shortcomings of his own Digimon. If he does not stay with the Digimon for a long time, it is absolutely impossible to do this by being beside a beast and carefully nurturing him. Speaking of which, I really wish I hadn't been a teacher for a long time. Why don't I go back and fulfill my obligations this time? 270. It might be a very good thing. Looking at the screen, the young man smiled and made a decision. 2-star digital tower, 50 floors. Dolacommon, how do you feel? Walking in front of Dolacommon, looking at Dolacommon sitting on the ground and gasping for air, Chin-yun expressed concern that clearing the 2-star digitower this time would be very draining on Doracommon's physical strength. Big. Especially the Master Megadramon we faced at the end, if it weren't for the high data value of Multigamen itself, and if the virtual Digimon were all idiots and couldn't perform on the spot, the outcome of this battle would have been hard to say otherwise. But even so, Chin-yun still relied on his commanding ability to let Dolagamon win the game, and this is the role of digital trainers. They don't just stand aside and watch the Digimon fight, but to arrange appropriate commands based on the situation of the Digimon and the enemy, so as to win the battle with the least effort. Very cool, very cool. Dolacommon screamed happily, and then he felt a little regretful. But I didn't rely on myself to defeat him. I was still too weak. Inexplicably, his data value was lower than mine, but I still had to rely on Xiao Cloud Yerwan District. Indeed, I didn't expect this to happen. Chin-yun also agreed with Dorugamon's words. He did not expect that Master Megadramon with low data value could actually gain the upper hand in the battle with Dorugamon. From this point of view, although the data value represents the strength of Digimon is not all of it, but part of it. From the previous battles, it can be seen that although Master Dramon's data value is low, his defense and attack power are far higher than those of the average complete body. If it were not for Dolagamon's high data, plus he has gone through a lot of battles and has a lot of experience, he will definitely be defeated by Master Dragonman on the way. Chin-yun didn't know that Master Megadramon had been transformed, so his strength did not meet the data value. Therefore, after experiencing this battle, Chin-yun made a new decision. Dolacommon, let's not think about improving the data now, let's increase the strength of the body. Chin-yun said. Since Master Megadramon can do this, you, who is stronger than him, can also do it, so the next training will be even harder. Are you ready? Well, I must become stronger. Dorugamon nodded fiercely. This battle made him understand that even if he evolves to a mature stage, he cannot be said to be very powerful. Facing an opponent like Master Megadramon, he has no resistance at all. So Dolacommon wants to become stronger and become more powerful than it is now. After a brief rest, Chin-yun took Dolacommon and left the 2-star digital tower Kate, but before walking out, he let Dolacommon degrade to the growth stage. After all, Dolacommon was very big. You can't see it in the digital tower, but if you go to the teleportation device, you won't be able to get in with his size. Of course, Chin-yun can choose to let Dolacommon into his home, but considering that Sein Feiken said that the digital space is only available after becoming a Star Beast Tamer, Chin-yun feels that it is better not to let it happen casually. If you put Dolacommon in your home, otherwise others will misunderstand that you have something belonging to a Star Tamer in advance, you will definitely get into trouble. Originally, a growth stage Digimon with a data value of 7,000 would be attractive enough, but if you create something that looks like a digital space, it will 100% be blocked by students, and it will be even more troublesome to come to the digital tower for training. At this time, Chin-yun did not know that he had already exposed the situation of Duolumen, and that the previous battle had been clearly seen by a teacher in the academy. There is still no one. It seems that no students will come during the registration period. After coming out of the 2-star digital tower, Chin-yun still didn't see anyone here. He originally planned to see what those buildings were used for, but because there was no one around, he couldn't enter the building. So Chin-yun didn't stay long. He brought the multi-channel beast to the teleportation device. After inserting the student card, the door opened and one person and one beast walked in. Then they left the digital tower area and returned. Arrived at the dormitory. Delumen, go and take a rest. I'll wake you up when you have dinner at night. After returning to the dormitory, Chin-yun first asked the tired Delumen to rest in the bedroom, while he sat on the sofa and summoned the system in his heart. Since you want to choose to improve Digimon's physical strength, you naturally need to use the digital props in the system. Although there are some equipment on the second floor that appear to be for training Digimon, Chin-yun feels that they are still digital props from the system. More practical. At least, these digital props can bring about obvious improvement, and those tools are the first time Chin-yun has come into contact with them, so he is not sure whether they can have an effect on Duolumin. However, choosing digital props means that Qinyan has to consume a lot of energy points. Fortunately, he cleared the 2-star digital tower this time. According to the growth stage, 1 is 100, the mature stage is 3000, and the complete one is 3000. According to Wanju, there are at least 150,000 energy points this time. Of course, the actual number must be higher, but Qinyan was busy looking at the things in the store at the time, so he did not calculate it. However, it is certain that he is temporarily troubled by energy points and can buy some upgraded multi-root beasts. Digital props come out. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.